All right, guys. We're on cam now. We're on live stream now. Oh, my camera's like a weird angle. I didn't even look at that. And I didn't turn on the Underhill sign. That's fine. I'll get up it later.
Good start.
Okay. What's poppin', Tub Nation? Welcome back to Tub Takes. We've got a pretty stacked cast today. And in fact, I think I'll introduce them in order of importance. But first, let's talk about what this is. This is a VGC podcast where we go over what's been making waves in the VGC scene. And yeah, starting off, we have Nails here. How's it going, Nick?
What's going on? I was the first seed at Indianapolis regionals this past weekend.
And the first to get knocked out.
I sure was.
Tragic. Anyways, next up we have Justin Burns.
Hey guys, I'm Justin. I just got top 4 at Indy Regionals. More importantly, I built Nails' team, which happens less often than I top cut regionals, so that's really the more important achievement.
Team did everything I needed it to. Shout out to
And we have your Indianapolis regional champion, Rajan Ball.
Hello, my name is Adi, and thank you for joining my my video podcast in which we recap VGC content.
Hey, Adi, I love your YouTube channel, by the way. It really inspired me to get better at VGC.
You can't do this every time.
I heard,
we can't do this
It was going to
every
help
time.
a friend of mine, but when I told him your my YouTube channel's name, he said that was a dog shit channel name, and how could he ever find it, is what he said.
Yes, but then did he spell your name afterwards so that he understood why they didn't do it with your full name?
But hello, everyone. I won Indy. Fucking thrilled.
I can turn the boys
Alex,
up a little bit.
Can we turn this up?
Yeah, I'll turn the boys up. Also, the most important of all, my co-host. Come on, Adi's here. How's it going, Adi?
Hello,
Real Adi.
everyone. There wasn't just one brown person who won the World's Invite last weekend. I did too. I stole Nick's team / Justin's team. And I won a midseason and got second at another one. So I'm pretty happy too. But yeah.
I'm the only brown person that got their invite twice this last weekend.
On the subject of that, before we get all into all of it, Rajan, you got the auto invite, obviously, but were you below 500 and this put you over?
Yeah.
Nice. What were you at?
You got
Like 4 something.
Okay, so you got it at like top 8, basically.
5.
yeah.
I had an open regional BFL, and I was at like 400 something.
So I'm saying when you got top 8, you had already earned your world.
Yeah. That locked it.
Got it.
I don't remember what I was exactly. I think it was like 405. I guess I do remember exactly.
All right, let's.
I got the invite twice, and I'm wasting both of them because I'm not going.
But see, now you've taken 2 spots from people. That's how that works.
Wait, Nick, you also earned your invite this weekend, right?
No, I'm at like 480.
480. Okay. Nick's close to it.
I gotta go to locals.
Nick's not brown, Adi. Sorry,
if
that wasn't clear.
I have not gone to a local
No.
outside of like one regional MSS. It's
Okay, I've done 3 locals, but it's just been top 8 MSS, then leave in top 8. Has been what I've been doing for my locals points because it's very efficient. Get 25 and go home.
There's only 25 more to earn at that point. Why sweat it?
Right? You just played 4 or 5 rounds to get 25 points. Play 3 more.
No.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to be talking a lot about Indy, probably spending most of the time talking about Indy. We have a couple of housekeeping things to talk about beforehand and some regionals to preview afterwards. But as a reminder, if you are here now but you won't be able to stay around for the whole thing, this is going to be uploaded on YouTube tomorrow. So exclamation point YT in the chat. I'll do it. I got it, except maybe we'll see if Adi does it too, because we always do it at the same time. I left a lot of room though for Adi to do it. I was like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
I did it. Believe it or not, I did it about 5 minutes ago, so you're good.
Oh, you know what? Fair enough. I just didn't say it. But yes. Anyways, it's gonna be on YouTube tomorrow. And yeah, Nick made the image, by the way, so shout outs to Nick for that. You know, our graphics design.
That's a great image. That's a phenomenal idea. I do like that Justin's looking at my butt though.
That's true. He's looking at those wheels.
He's just focused on the racetrack. That's all that's going on there.
Getting left in the dust, bro. That's all it was.
Why were you in Indiana, dude? The Kentucky Derby was happening last weekend. You could have been in Kentucky, just a couple hours south.
I did drive Kentucky to get to Indy.
On the subject of
I-
races, though, there was. I know that you're gonna twist it the wrong way, Rajan. I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming.
Here, let's hear him out. Let's hear him out. What's he got to say? What do you got?
Guys, you have to understand that it's
What
always
does
a
he
race.
have to
It's always a
say?
race thing. There was a race in Indianapolis, wasn't there? Like, and a lot of the streets were
Just one?
closed.
Yes, several of them.
Shut up, man.
Yo, Shiny Umbreon, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, so no, there was like a lot of like
Yeah, it was actually kind of annoying.
streets
It
closed off
was
because there was a
like-
race, right?
Yeah.
What type of race
It
was it?
turned, like the 9-minute car ride into like a 20-minute
It was
one.
the 5K, right?
Oh,
this
it was like
happened in
a
2022
marathon,
as well.
Like
It
an
was
on
like,
foot
yeah,
type.
Yeah.
because they had a bunch of roads closed because people were running through them.
Got it. Okay.
I think though it would have been a more entertaining race if the roads stayed open. Personally,
Just like make it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember that for some reason this is the second time they scheduled Indy Regionals the same weekend as like a race that goes through downtown. I don't know if like Rajan, you remember last year or 2 years ago, Nick, you guys. I forget who else stayed with me, but we got trapped in a parking lot that was for racing parking. It was free parking, and then they closed it off after the race ended, but they didn't realize people were still there for VGC, and so we had to literally
Why
like
like it?
lift up like
why
the
the
barrier.
parking lots every time I go to Indy?
As far as I understand, Burns, that happened to you and Rajan at this tournament.
It happened to us. We parked in the parking garage that leads up to the mall, except it was like 8 in the morning on a Sunday, and I guess the mall doesn't open then. So we go up the stairs and try to exit, and all the doors are locked. So we're just inside the mall, no way to get out except going back down into the parking garage and walking up the ramp that the cars drive in.
But the thing is, we found that garage after we were going to go into a different garage first. But then, like, the thing that like lets you into the garage was broken, so there's just a line of people. And then Jody and Nishant walk by and just go, "Man, you're fucked," and then just keep walking by. And we had to escape that. Found this garage, got trapped. It was an ordeal. Then I had to poop. Like, it was so annoying.
We did make it to round 1 in time, though.
I did not actually. I think I missed round 1 of that day. I'm pretty sure.
You know, fair enough. Nick was not as lenient as my round 1 opponent.
Let's get through the boring stuff. You know, not boring, but you know the stuff that it's not Indianapolis, because I want to talk about Indianapolis. But there was a RegF tour held in Korea. Was it in person or online? I can't remember.
I thought it was in person.
I
from
think
the
it was
frames that I
too.
saw on the VR Twitter.
Yeah, they have.
It looks like it was in person.
Let me grab it. Let me just click on one of these YouTube links to see if I can find
Yeah,
themselves in the middle of a match. It looks like they were there in person.
Wait, what was their instant usage?
Okay, what does this look like for you guys? Oh, it looks like that. Okay.
Well, that honestly, their instant usage.
Their instant usage was dummy high.
It was 72%.
What the heck? That was our instant usage.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, yeah, they got dude. Their graphics like cuter.
Wait, and this was Reg F.
Yes,
It's Reg F, but they
That's
have
what
a
I'm
Galapagos on the photo, of course.
that is just offensive, bro. Here's what you can look forward
There's
to.
nothing. You know, TPC Korea just has to rub it into their contestants, like every second.
The winning team looks familiar. I do find that quite amusing. Is this not just a copy of what Nils used to win EUIC?
This is
Yeah,
in
probably.
fact Nils' team.
That
Yeah.
is in fact
I don't
Nils'
know.
team. Yeah.
I,
It had
I-
some
Well,
differences.
okay, it's closed team sheet though, or closed Terra type, which is funny.
Yes.
And I think that's to talk about that actual mechanic. It's OTS closed Terra, and I don't know what the fuck the point of that is. Like, that's just for fun.
yeah,
And like,
that is that. I mean,
why
I
is
think
that there.
you're right. You're absolutely right. It is like just for fun. Like whose fun is it? I don't
Wasn't
know.
wasn't it Japan Nationals that was open team sheet, closed Terra, open nature, or
Yeah.
something like that? They just keep adding new rules.
Yeah.
Like,
Just for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wanted to
You get to
know that
know if your Fluttermane is modest or timid.
Yeah, it is
I
big.
want to know. Listen. I think that I would have beaten Rajan if I had known if my Pokemon were faster than his Miraidon. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Right? You know, if I see,
We should have open nature. That's the difference.
That's
I
actually...
will say a lot of folks I've been seeing, because I've been stalking myself when we get there. I've been stalking myself, crawling through every instance of my name on the internet for the last 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like running calcs with timid Miraidon like fucking fools and saying like, I got this roll, I got that thing, there's no way that killed. It's like, why would I give up 10%? Like, what are you doing here?
I want them dead.
Like, why would I do that? No, it was not a roll.
Rajan, I just want to say that I love this character development. You used to complain about things being win more, and like we've just completely beaten that out of you, and now you're regional champion. And
Well,
I love this. I love this training arc.
why would I give up 10%? That's so many percents.
Only Raj would use the phrase stalking himself.
When Alex said I want them dead, I wasn't sure if he was referring to the opponent's Pokemon or the people that were saying that Rajan
Oh
was
god.
timid.
That's true.
Oh god. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
too
I don't
funny.
understand this open. I don't understand this OTS closed Terra thing. It's like I get that perhaps some amount of cheesing is somehow culturally significant to what TPC thinks the Asian circuits should have,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so dog shit. What is the point of that?
It's funny because I feel like these top two, at least these top two teams, are kind of like net decks.
Yeah.
But someone said it was Terra Fairy P2.
It was Terra Fairy P2. Okay, that is funny. Like I'm looking at the Iron and I'm like, that's surely Terra Water, right?
Like using the net deck but changing the Terras is in fact kind of based.
Yes.
It is actually really funny.
Net deck with the changes being hidden is a little silly. You can also do stuff like, you know, like change the speed or the EVs, I guess. You know, if people are like, oh, that was actually a booster speed flutter, but now it's booster special attack. There's like little ways that you can cheese things like that, but it's a lot harder. When they hide the Terras, though, you can definitely make some cheesy choices.
I mean, you can go with natures too. They reveal natures. It's like, oh, this is modest flutter main, but it gets a speed death boost. Crazy. Can that actually do that? I don't think. I don't know.
I mean, yes.
Can you like be inefficient with your EVs to give it like be modest nature, but then have like a speed boost?
You can.
That would be kind of sick if you had open nature to do that.
I'm pretty sure Voldemort ran like a calm flutter at one point.
Yep, Fresno.
It
lives.
You know.
It takes a Torkoal eruption.
Yep. Anyways,
versus Tricker.
I do recognize one of these names.
Why do we only have the OTSs for the first four? Not that I care about this format anymore because it's less skill expressive than Reg Chi, but I don't know why we only have 4 OTSs.
Because those are the ones that got the World's Round 1 bye and Travel Award.
But like half of them got Worlds invites otherwise. Like theoretically, I should care about them too.
Well,
I wonder if it's a stream thing. I wonder if those were just the ones that were because it's a 10-hour stream.
Yeah, it was a lengthy one. They had a lot of rounds.
Well, TPC says only the top 4 matter, and what they say goes.
I do recognize this this name here in top 4 though. Last year's San Diego regional champion, Jusok Lee, did make a top 4 appearance here, which means a World's Round 1 bye, Travel Award. It looks like the rewards are all the same across top 4. I'm not sure if the winner did end up getting some. They probably got something significantly more than the others.
Also,
right?
Miluka said he's not even going to Worlds, so that's another person that's got a Worlds invite.
Dang, just stealing it from people. These actual criminals.
So, the guy is in shambles.
I don't know if you remember last year, but last year we saw that I think they differed the pricing from first, second, third, and fourth, or something like that, or first, second, and third. And everyone was like, "Wait, the second place prize is better than the first place prize." Like it was a hotel in Japan versus a flight to Japan.
I think it was top 4. I think top 4 was better than
top
second.
Top 4 was hotels.
Yeah, top 4 was hotels. Second was flight, and first was both.
So I will say, credit where credit is due. At least they fixed that one error.
However,
they made a lot of mistakes, but at least they fixed one of them.
I mean, however, they never even awarded those because all 4
yeah.
EQ'd.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking with Nash about this. Nash is my goat. Yeah. Anyways, there was no reason other than like, glory, which is not like the worst thing to play for, but it is just kind of amusing that once
Also,
you
I
got to
think
top 4, you just played for glory.
the guy that won Korean Apps in Masters is the 2017 Senior World Champion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
No, and that's now
I
aged
see.
up.
I looked at the Twitter, and it's all TCG stuff. So
Mhm.
I wasn't sure if you meant VGC or TCG, but yeah, I guess so.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, though. There's not like a lot of. I mean, there is a Rockman Vivillon.
No, there's a Scizor. Hold on, scroll down. A Scizor got their invite. We can see that Scizor.
Wait, what do you mean?
That one, number 9.
How am I not seeing this?
Maybe
Oh, it's
on
also
a
on the
Rockman
bug team. They
Scizor.
just ran
Yeah.
triple bug.
Yep.
Oh, and then the second place team is a second place player was Neon Love.
Oh,
didn't know that. I
man.
didn't recognize
Okay.
the name.
Ladder addict. Ladder hero.
Mhm.
There we go.
There was a frost moth.
I know. All right. I am suddenly extraordinarily bored of this.
Right? Let's move on.
Yeah.
It is
You're
just
excited to see the results.
In an effort to appease our regional champion, who dictates our every whim, we can move on.
Yeah, true.
Shout
True.
out to Sejan.
Well, you guys can talk about this tournament
Yeah,
again in
Sejan
about
did-
5 minutes when I go
Stadium
get my
did get his
food.
invite.
Don't worry, we will have to talk about RegF again when we get the results from every other Asian national that happens in May. So if you will hear more about this format.
Mhm.
Woohoo! Wait, that's a
we
lot
can
more.
talk-
Woke. No, it's
Wait, what do you
not-
mean? They're going
no.
back to RegF after Worlds.
Mhm.
But it's Reg H. It's not Reg F.
Let's go ahead and move on to talking about Reg G. There was a big Reg G tournament that happened over the weekend with 59 players in Argentina, and that is the one that is probably going to have the largest impact on the metagame in the coming weeks.
You
And
guys can talk about that. My food is downstairs. I'll be right back.
of course, it came now. You set it up for this.
Get out of the call before he
I'll
gets
be right
back.
back.
Anyways, it looks like Juan Salerno won this one, and with maybe the exact same team that won the Victory Road tournament. I remember there was a Golden Go Calyrex Ice team that won the Victory Road Tour, Victory Road Spring Challenge.
Yeah. I think that's correct, and I think it was probably the exact same team.
Mm-hmm. That would track, and yeah, Ice Rider, Golden Go, very solid together. Just like the fact that these Pokemon are both really good on these balance type teams, using the Fire, Water, Grass, Rain core in Cinnamungus or Shifu and Pelipper. They appreciate the things that they're doing. The Rain kind of keeping the fire types at bay, and then Golden Go, and I don't know why I said Lunala. There is one down here, but Golden Go and Calyrex hitting all of the grass types for like Urshifu, like a Mungus, keeping those guys in check. But yeah, other than that, the team that got second was a bit more of a hard Trick Room take on Calyrex Ice, it looks like. Smeargle, Torkoal, Giraffe immediately tells me, like, oh yeah, this team is probably opting into a bit more of a hard Trick Room approach. And yeah, we can't really, give you guys more information because we don't have team sheets, but, it wouldn't surprise me if that was an Urshifu. Oh, it does tell me it's Urshifu single if I hover it. Even though they have the same sprite still after all these years.
Oh, that is funny. Yeah, because the one on top is Urshifu Rapid.
Yes. And so we do have confirmation on that. 5 Chi-Yu in top 8. That is a good thing that Evan pointed out. How's it going, Evan?
And
Go ahead, Audie.
adding to that, 3 of those Chi-Yu, obviously the 3 Chi-Yu are paired with Terapagos, 2 of them paired with Calyrex. We can talk more about Calyrex later. I'm sure we'll talk extensively about Calyrex Shadow when we get to Indy. But with Terapagos, it's really interesting that all 3 of the Terapagos teams that cut had Chi-Yu on them, because when we look at Indy results, we're also going to see that there are really 2 different types of Terapagos teams. There's the Chi-Yu variants and there's the Combine variants. And I suspect that all 3 of them are running this, and that is the better variant as of now.
Calm
so,
Mind?
yeah.
What is that?
Well, I'm going to point it out. I'm going to go do a deep dive. I was looking through the standings of Indy. It is crazy, the discrepancy. So
I was going to
we'll get
say,
that. I just wanted to point it
did
out
Calm Mind even have any deep runs? But I mean...
Yes. In fact, In fact, almost all of them were combined, and all but 3 of them in day 2 were combined, and the top 3 Terapagos were all not combined.
Nah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. Whoa.
Do we know the hell item in
Terapagos?
these 3 Tropicos? I'd had to probably do a bit of digging on the pages of the players to see if they actually posted their teams or not, but unfortunately we don't have open team sheets for these yet. But yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I can
I can-
confirm.
I can say that
confirm
the
that-
third place team looks familiar. Looks like a team that Justin made.
I can confirm that the third place team is Specs Terapagos.
That's fair. Justin did make this team as the word on the street.
Considering the other 2 have Chiyu, I would, and like largely the same comp, I would also assume it's their choice specs.
They're either choice specs or meteor beam. Those are the only 2 sets that really make sense on this type of comp.
I'm assuming that it's choice specs because it had a good placement.
True.
But
Honestly, true.
again-
Not to take credit away from Andrew Zhang. Andrew Zhang obviously did very well with that Terapagos team, but I do know also this was happening at the same time, and Tayo had posted a very strong Specs tournament team. And let's move on from this tournament and get to Indianapolis. We ran out of time. Time is up.
No, we're moving on to second place at Indianapolis. We just talked about the winners team, and so
I think the seventh place Terapagos team, Joken Solano, I believe it's OE6 because he top 4'd VR with like
right.
a Chi Specs Terapagos team.
Got it.
yes.
That does track. And then there is, I guess, while we're running through the teams here, there is a Shadow Rider team in top 4 as well as top 8. Dondozo Shadow Rider, it looks like the most gross. Not like exactly 2-2-2, but 2-2-2. This team looks deviously annoying.
Right.
Well, it has A2. It has Torn Ursh.
Right.
So that's
That's basically
So it
2-2, because if you call
Yeah.
Chi-Yu Shadow Rider another 2, I think you could call that a 2.
I think
So
you can call it a 2.
That's
did pronounce it like that,
groupings
Nerd of
of 2 Pokemon.
How is it pronounced, Nerd of Now, if you don't mind informing us? Anyways, so yeah, Lunala on a balanced team here, and then yeah, Shadow Rider Mienshao. I think that is a bit underutilized, but yeah, a lot of people liking to play Shadow Rider balance. I like Shadow Rider HO. Like, even though this 2-2-2 team looks disgusting to me, I feel like it's doing the things Shadow Rider should be doing as opposed to the Shadow Rider balance. We'll get to that at the
Like
next
winning,
tournament, though.
as opposed to losing.
I mean.
Alright,
Dang.
tell me I'm wrong though.
We'll look
Yeah,
at the
but-
results
Says the
of
guy
Shadow
with
Rider
two
balance
two
then.
normal types and a dark type, bro. Like, you're the one that's scared of Shadow Rider.
I didn't play a Shadow Rider that entire tournament.
Not actually the whole tournament.
I played one.
I
He saw a
only played
Shadow
against
Rider.
one-
He saw a Shadow Rider in preview. He didn't play against a Shadow Rider in the tournament.
How?
They didn't bring it, man.
Oh wait, this was
I-
the stream
I
set.
told He saw a Shadow Rider in team preview.
They didn't bring
Oh,
it.
I forgot that this one's actually it was actually on stream. We have video proof.
Someone was caught on the timeline not bringing their restricted.
No, I was asking
Rajan,
genuinely,
you
Nerd of Now. So it's Joaquin. That's how you say that? Okay, good to know for the future because I
Yeah,
definitely would have pronounced it wrong.
No, we would never bait something like that. As we heard earlier, Alex is really like culturally appropriate when it comes to other races.
Yeah, no, I love appropriating
We are
cultures.
big into cultural appropriation. Yeah. High five, Alex. Same joke.
Okay, that was a great one.
Okay, so
Excellent.
let's go ahead and
Good dunk. Alley-oop.
I got one last question while we're on Buenos Aires.
yes.
Because I see the Lunala out here in 5th, and I see another Lunala in 10th, just bubbling cut. This is not a Pokemon that I think did very well at Indy. What are your thoughts on Lunala and maybe the 2 different variants of it that we see?
It
There's
definitely.
only
I
one
think-
Lunala.
I think
There's
it's
one
pretty good.
10th.
I think people are building it to be too fair.
Mhm.
Like people are building with like kind of like, oh, I want to play balanced Lunala when you can't. I don't think you can really do that. I think you want to.
It's not expanding force.
I don't know if you need to go that aggressive, but you definitely want to be able to have pressure alongside the meteor beam,
Mhm.
kind of like Glamora hyper offense. But
Mhm. Mhm.
I think Lunala could be really cool. It does do a cool thing, and this isn't even like a pat myself on the back that kind of thing. It's just like it is a restricted. It gets to play in front of like all the other restricteds. Like Shadow Rider can take him right on hit. Like he can do a bunch of stuff. And it gets off a big attack. Like it also has a focus sash built in, and I think that's like really, 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 really valuable at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the ability to just take overwhelming damage and nerf it significantly. Yeah, is definitely valuable in these restricted type formats. But yeah, if they give us sheets for this, maybe I'll talk about it on another stream or a future tub takes. We'll see if we come.
I want to see that 9th place teams though. Is what I want to
see.
That
is Venu Dawn. They actually went all in on the sun, by the way. That is pretty sick. They got the giraffe because that's basically Serena. And then we've got Raging Bolt, the new sun guy, Walking Wig. This looks fun, honestly. I'd mess around with that.
I mean, we've played with 5 out of these 6, and then a Flutter instead of a Walking Wig on stream.
Right, exactly.
On
so
Nation TV. So if you're watching this in the next week, you can probably check out that VOD.
The VOD is not gone yet. That's true. Anyways, let's talk about the Indianapolis Regional Championships, Regulation G 2024, in the Masters Division, on Earth. I don't know. Anyways, couldn't get any more specific. It was won.
Wait, I'm confused. Is it or is it not in the Annapolis?
Yeah, I accidentally drove to Annapolis and on Friday, so I didn't actually get to the tournament until like 7 a.m. before round 1 went up.
Yeah, good day.
All right, guys, I'm gonna try something here, and feel free to cancel me over this. I'm willing to put my life on the line here. Is it a coincidence that the start of the city name looks like that?
2024?
No, the city.
Oh, because it's in Indiana, and so it starts with Indiana?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a coincidence.
And generally, like, places are in somewhere.
Like,
I don't know.
Like, like the commercial says, Annapolis is in the Maryland. Indianapolis.
I am an Indian who lives in close to Maryland.
Indianapolis is in the Indiana.
Places are in somewhere. All right, let's talk about Rajan's team. That's enough beating around the bush. Rajan won the tournament with Miraidon plus Ursaluna Blood Moon. And the other guys on the team are Ensign, Giraffe, Whimsicott, and Cornerstone. Double Grass. He's got like 5 ice weeks in an Calyrex ice meta.
There's nothing else we need to talk about.
Cool, moving on.
Cool.
Okay.
Moving on.
But yeah,
Puerto Rico's got a special event coming up.
Yeah, let's just move on to the next subject. That's it. Okay, so
That's all regional.
Rajan, I do want you. Are you doing a team report with Adi?
Probably.
Cool. I don't know if that's been talked about. Anyways, without launching into a full team report, can you give us the short of this team between bites?
Between bites.
Just let him chew. Let him
let him cook, bro.
Done cooking.
Yeah,
now.
Listen, like the big kahuna here is Whimsicott. But outside of Whimsicott, it's Miraidon. And Miraidon kind of rocks. Quite a bit. And folks were running Terra Fairy, Miraidon, and whatever in the Limitless tours, and that just looks really, really underwhelming. And people were clicking like Electro Drift for some reason, and that looks really, really, really underwhelming. And Alex, when you first started streaming with that Miraidon team, it was Terra Fairy, right? Like with the Miraidon, and then
yeah, it was
the Ursaluna and all them.
It was.
And like Miraidon looked cool, but that team looked like ass. But then like I just started thinking about Terra Electric Calcs, and Amunk kills everything. If folks caught some of the games on stream or have been playing around the Calc like themselves, like Terra Electric Volt Switch facilitates a 100% OCO against Incineroar. it can do like 65% to a Mungus just for no fucking reason, like literally just by looking at it, and it just chunks it for 2/3 for fun. And you just do a lot of like silly things like that, and it's like, wait a second. It just made me think that like the Mon was being approached fundamentally the wrong way. In that like realistically the worst move on the set is Electro Drift. Just by far, the worst move on the set is Electro Drift. But Terra Electric meant you could click Volt Switch to take the knockouts instead of Electric Drift. I was playing with that a little bit, and I think I was still using your squad a little bit, Alex, like on stream, and I just didn't love it. I just thought there was like parts of it that just felt really awkward for folks who have not been catching or following Alex's Tub Nation streams. He was streaming with Terra Fairy, Maridon, Farigarath, Avian Cineroar, which I was a hater of, but then used, and it's good. Like, fuck you. Corners. He was using 5 out of 6 of these mons. The difference
I was gonna say it was on the right path. Obviously you made a lot of changes that I think made the team where it is now. That it's a lot stronger now. I think the things that weren't there to start to highlight for people are the Terra Electric with discharge. The Electric Sea Giraffe I think is a really sick innovation. And the Whimsicott are the main things there. And then the Ursaluna I was using was slow. Rajan said no. The other way.
Yeah, I'm timid. But yeah, so like, but the thing I didn't like about the team that you were playing, Alex, was like, and you were pretty convinced it was broken. I did not like it at all because of the absence of the fast mode. And you were like, it's fast enough. You got this. But like, it really didn't feel that way. It kind of just felt like you were using the really strong active Pokemon reactively, and I didn't like that. But like just thinking about it a little bit more, putting Terra Electric on the Maridon, giving it Tailwind, not using Tornadus, but thinking about using Whimsicott, it was really, really, really strong. Whimsicott's more favorable into Raging Bolt, and the way that things work, and Justin can tell you about this, is it's hard to play in front of the Maridon with the threat of the Encore Whimsicott in back. So those two, plus the Assault Vest Incineroar, just like kind of allowed me to press Volt Switch, press U-turn, and really get to control the board and do a lot of obscene damage for no reason. And then there's a Farigarath or Ursaluna part of it, which I didn't really love, in all honesty. But like Farigarath is important because Maridon's locked in, and Ursaluna is like a ground spread move that's just really impactful against players, but realistically kind of only works as a bit of a noob trap more so than like as an actual Pokemon. It was kind of easier to catch worse players with it, which is why I brought it against Justin game 2. But outside of I'm sorry, but no, like it realistically is. I can hear you.
This is me rolling my eyes at you.
I know. But like, realistically, it was just bringing the fast mode into the team, maximizing Maridon's damage, pressing Volt Switch against a field that was not ready for Volt Switch to take the KOs, and then having extraordinarily bulky Pokemon that you needed at least 2 hits to kill in the back. So, Ogerpon had a Sash, Whimsicott had a Sash, Avianson is very hard to OHKO, and Electric Seed Farigarath is very hard to OHKO. So you take the knockout with Volt Switch, Maridon is like 100 Volt. Like, it's just really fat for no reason. And you come back into a Mon that, like, you can't OHKO. And it was just, like, really, really, really powerful. And it felt like I was using a Super Soaker and the rest of the field had water guns.
It was super funny because, yeah, Maridon is this problem Pokemon that you never get to touch. That's what the team is all about. It's just, like, doing all this damage, but never there for the repercussions. It's always in and out.
It's just 2017 Tapu Koko.
It is.
Except, like,
Rajan
what happened to Koko, but you made him strong. Like,
yeah, Rajan
really,
was like one of the first people to use Volt Switch Koko as well, so it's kind of a funny callback.
That is true, actually. Like, my first regionals cut was in Athens, and that was with Life Orb Koko with Nature Power Volt Switch and
HP Fire.
HP Fire.
One of my favorite Japanese players, Yuki Rodum, did a comparison of the strong electric types over the years, and it was really funny because threw into the calc a Tapu Koko with Electrium Z based off of Thunder. And like basically like how much power that was. I don't know what metrics were used to determine this, but it's just kind of like in a vacuum, I think. How strong that is. Then there was Regilecki's Dynamax Thunder, and then Dynamax like what was it? Max Lightning. That's what that thing was called.
Yeah.
And then there's talking about the Electro Drift from Specs Miraidon, and that's just like even stronger than any of the other calcs beforehand. And
Which is ridiculous, right? But I cannot emphasize enough how Electro Drift is the worst move on the set. It is really, by far and by away, the worst move on the set and the worst button to click out of all of them.
Well, yeah, the thing is that Electro Drift is the nuke that you can click if you need to, but it's all about keeping Miraidon away from, facing the repercussions. He's running from the law, basically. Like, at all points.
True. It's a tempo Pokemon. And, like, when you're staying on the field, you are letting the cops catch you. And Miraidon doesn't do well in front of the police.
Right.
And that's just kind of, like, what ended up being really, really, really strong about the interactions. And then the thing that I'm, like, the most proud of is thinking about Discharge and putting it on the set. That was something that I was like, wait, hold on, no, this is base as fuck. And I was like, no, it has to be Dragon Pulse for some reason. It has to be Dragon Pulse. But Discharge was just overwhelmingly, like, the most fun button to click. It was so cool.
Yeah, I wanted to know about that Discharge that one took you to the last KO, not the part about the Whimsicott potential misplay, but
not the Discharge
whatever.
After I won the tournament.
But no, not that one either. The Discharge that got that final KO, was that just like a consistent kill? Do you know about that?
I ran the calc and that shit just died.
Yeah, like whether, because everyone was like, oh no, like, he needed to KO his own Whimsicott, so he got the single target Discharge. But it didn't even matter. Oh, actually, Andrew's here in the chat saying it did 93%.
It just died.
So,
it just died. Like, thank you for confirming it. Like, I also know, like, I didn't know at the time when playing against you, and Andrew was a great finals opponent, so thank you for being a just really fun person to play against. It was a really cool team. But yeah, that shit just died. Like, I had no idea, so I went with the Double Protect anyway. Turned out it didn't matter. Like, it had the Miraidon's just so unbelievably stupid. Like, it just breaks the balance of the game fundamentally. It's like when we thought, like, in 2017, like, oh man, why'd they give Tapu Koko like a base 45 special attack stat? This is why. It breaks the balance of the game. If you are taking the knockout with Volt Switch specifically,
I said this on stream.
So unbelievably powerful.
I said this on stream yesterday with the people that weren't there. Justin, do you remember how in the previous gen, Sword and Shield, whatever, Gen 8, I was saying that I thought As 1 was like a tech demo for the next generation and that they were going to do more ability combinations. It took me until...
Miraidon has that, right?
Yes, it just took me so long to realize that was essentially Quark Drive plus Electric Surge.
To be fair, we have had abilities like that before that just have multiple effects.
Water Bubble
has like
Mind's Eye.
I thought that was all just a preview for Pokerogue.
What were you saying though, Burns?
Oh, I was just saying Water Bubble has 3 effects.
Yes, it does. Water Bubble is almost as complicated as Terapagos. Speaking of Terapagos, I'm done talking about Rajan's team.
Yeah. No, it's not a team report. I'm really excited. I know I'll talk a little bit more about it, and I'll answer some questions in chat, and all of us had an extraordinary tournament. It's just actually really fucked up for Justin specifically to have gone 8-1 day one and be the 3rd best record in our hotel room. He couldn't get a word in at dinner because Nails and I were just filleting too hard. And like, it was actually, he had an extraordinary tournament and he was like silent in the corner like he wasn't there.
All I gotta say is like a quick preview for LA for the people going to that one. I'm pretty sure Rajan and Nick are sharing a bed for that one too, so watch out.
Danger bed.
That might be true. Can't confirm or deny.
No confirming nor denying. All right, let's talk about Andrew Deng's team here.
I did not KO my Pokemon of Discharge a single time.
Darn. You didn't
We're booking different hotel rooms, but we're going to share about it regardless. We
Oh.
don't know who's yet.
That makes sense. Okay, so Andrew Thing's here, team here is Terapagos with the choice specs. We actually have the choice scarf on the Chiyu as well, and it's not too dissimilar from the team that Nails used. There's some things that are similar, some things that are different. There's a lot of like minor things that are different, but at the end of the day, it's specs Terapagos next to a Chiyu on a Tailwind offense team.
Yeah.
Very strong team. I liked the take on it. As someone who's building Terapagos myself, I like the Amoonguss inclusion because that was kind of like where my mind went after first seeing the OE team. Just because I felt like a very offensive team with Amoonguss could do well, because with a lot of the slow stuff like Trick Room or whatever, they can usually deal with the like hyper offensive teams by just kind of getting in Trick Room and running over them. So I was like, well, if you put an Amoonguss on, you can not only like redirect this turtle spamming like completely neutral coverage that can kind of solo carry games. You can also use it as like a countermeasure to Trick Room, so you don't get kind of steamrolled if you get Trick Roomed on.
I like the way you just said though. Just like it's just like a solo carry for games, and I think that like that was just really, really, really powerful going in, and something that Nels and I have talked about quite a bit is like when considering restricted formats, or when considering like how you're approaching your tournament for a restricted team as opposed to say Reg F or ones where we just had fewer Pokemon but like more equitable power scalings, is that if you're restricted isn't like, if you don't put 75% of your eggs into the restricted's basket and like know that that is your game plan every single game, and like fundamentally building it around those mechanics, like you're not using your resources well. And I really like that Andrew's team is like, how do we use choice specs Terapagos really well? Justin's and all like with how do we use Ice Rider very well? Like how do we use Ogre very well? Like how do you enable the big kahuna to actually do big kahuna things?
Especially early format, right, where we don't really know how the meta was going to shake out. We didn't like. I mean, Miraidon being the example that is obviously especially pertinent, where no one really expected Miraidon to win this tournament or be anywhere in top cut. But also, like, nice. I'm looking at some of the other teams. Like, I don't think anyone expected Chilling Tang's team or Keanu's team or stuff like that. And so it's in a format where you don't really know what other people are going to bring, where it's really hard to, build your team specifically to beat the meta, when the meta is still is fairly wide open. You want to do the most powerful thing possible, and that is kind of what we saw. Where I think Specs Terapagos, Miraidon both kind of fit that description. Ice Rider, I think, also fits that description. So yeah, I think that enabling your restricted to be as broken as possible is really the goal, especially early format. As we develop, as we kind of see, okay, well, yeah, I'd like my Pokemon to be as strong as possible, but I really need to hedge for the Miraidon matchup. Then you kind of change the philosophy, but at least at the start, I like that approach.
For early format tournaments, play level 0. Don't overthink it. Just level 0 all day.
Nick, to bring it back to something that Rajan was talking about, putting all your eggs in the restricted basket. I used a quote from you that that you used during one of our streams earlier in the week, where you were like, if Groudon doesn't get this like KO, we need a new restricted. And I love it. Like, like if your restricted Pokemon isn't doing it all, just get a new one.
That is my favorite philosophy too when practicing too. It's like, if this doesn't work the way it's supposed to, this mon sucks shit, and it's not my fault. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, you're building your team to put your Groudon or whatever in a position to win the game in those positions, and if it's not winning the game in those positions, it's not doing enough, right?
There's one person who didn't do that, which I actually thought was really cool, and I know we'll talk more about the teams, and I mean, I'm far too invested to not continue talking about my run at some point, but like there was that one Groudon team, I think there was the one in top 16 that had Helping Hand move 4 on Groudon, which I thought was a really, really, really cool way of using that, like the unique thing that Pokemon does, which is like, how do I create guaranteed win conditions, but like even when using support Groudon, Broken Mon with Sun is a way to fundamentally orient your team, right?
It's super Torkoal. Helping Hand Torkoal is a thing to enable Flutter, and now Groudon is it's got a slightly better spread move, so we're using that instead.
It is at the end of the day all about helping
Jonathan.
Flutter.
Yeah, I think it was Jonathan.
Yeah. We'll definitely get to it. Let's finish talking about Andrew Zhang's team here, though. Some of the other things that were pretty interesting and different it was like a Swords Dance safety goggles for Shifu. I think that was a very strong tool for breaking some of the Cali Ice matchups. You create this Pokemon that is very strong into Incin, Amoonguss, Calyrex Ice. A lot of the teams were using those 3 Pokemon, and it can't be spored. It resists actually every move that Incineroar can go for, and it resists Glacial Lance. And so it kind of just gets to sit on the field, stack boosts, and stall Trick Room turns for this mostly hyper offense oriented team. Terapagos also just has enough stats to survive a Trick Room. And talking about the moves, it had Sleep Talk, so if you got put to sleep by a Spore, you could click that. We also got to see a Hyper Beam on stream against the Cali Ice team, and for people that don't know, Starstorm doesn't actually get a stab boost when you Terra. And so Hyper Beam does get that normal type Stellar stab boost. It just does all the damage. That's all you need to know. It gets a
2x multiplier instead of the 1.2x Stellar multiplier, which is
all I will say is if you went to Indianapolis relying on Adi's mechanics video of Terapagos,
oh my god, lay off.
He does legally owe you your entry fee back.
Okay. So I just want to say that
Yeah, he did.
I said that Starstorm was 1.5x multiplier in the video, and I edited it out. It's not there anymore. Like, it was there for an hour. Thank you, Rajan, for mentioning it to me. I appreciate it. The YouTube comments have listed out like 5 or 6 other mechanics that I didn't cover. Some of which are like more relevant than others, but like I wrote a 7-minute video about this Pokemon and all the mechanics that are around it. And I apparently could have written another 7 more minutes. Like, this mod has too much shit going on.
It does.
It's like the fact that you have to know all.
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward.
I picked the mod up and started playing with it because I realized that if I don't play with this mod, I am not going to fully understand this mod, and it is going to be a good Pokemon.
Man, learn to read.
Adi, I think you failed to mention though.
Adi's credit. It's a very hard mon to intuit the game plan against if you haven't actually practiced with it. And I haven't done any practice with it.
Okay, but that has to do with mechanics, or that doesn't really have to do with the mechanics of it. That's just kind of like game.
Yeah, it's not knowing.
It does, and it's unintuitive.
Adi should know how the mon works. I'm not giving him credit for that, but like when thinking about considering the Terra Shell, or I know there were some times when Andrew and I were playing like he Terra'd anyway and avoided the whole Terra Shell mechanic, but then thinking about her internalizing the bulk increase and things like that, and like not being able to actually use your Terra. Or like the Terra mechanic of Terra Starstorm denying U value out of defensive Terras inherently. Like it's very hard to think about that game plan. So I agree with like getting your reps in to know how to be against it. Like I think coincidentally, I had a very good Terapagos matchup. I just didn't know what the fuck to do with it.
It is one of the mons that has the most depth to it with the dual ability situation, the stat change, the move change, and all the mechanics associated with it. Now that I'm finally getting a word in, I wanted to mention, Adi, that I can't believe your video didn't include that Beat Up does less damage if your turtle hasn't Terra or changed form yet.
We can excuse that.
I'm kidding, of course.
No, man, I got called out for not mentioning the I got called out for not mentioning the Ditto mechanic, and I was like, I didn't know that. I didn't even think about that. That's not relevant.
Yeah.
And then here it is. It cut the regional. I didn't know that was it cut the regional.
Mad important. Ditto mechanic, that's why I ran Cornerstone.
Someone else mentioned someone else mentioned that like it gets heavier, and so low kick does more damage, and they lost a game in a regional to that, and I was like, well, sorry, I can't go for everything.
That's actually really funny.
Wait, if they actually.
That's also funny that they blamed you for that.
Right, if they came back
they said you should have mentioned it, like it is something that like this mod changes so much. It is so confusing. I genuinely recommend that you try out using it, because if you use it, you're going to realize that I think people have like people, especially the spec set, people internalize it and they say, "Oh, it's a spec Terapagos. It's a Terra Hog." It's not a Terra Hog. You don't have to Terra it. And in fact, one of the ways we had game plans that didn't involve tearing it for a couple different matchups. And on top of that, you Terra it a lot of times. You're playing against Miraidon, you're playing against Koraidon, you're playing against Groudon, you're playing against anything that has terrain or has weather or anything like that. You have to Terra it at the best possible point. And so a lot of it is actually maintaining his Terra Shell and doing single target damage with Starstorm. And again, that is not intuitive from someone who just looks at his Pokemon, reads all it does, doesn't play against it or play with it, or even play against bad players with it, play low ladder with it. Like it really does. It feels like a Pokemon that has a very high skill ceiling, but also or at least initially it had a very high skill ceiling. It's a Pokemon that does a lot of things, and knowing when to do all those things is very important. And if you're playing against it and you don't consider all the things your opponent can do, you're gonna have a much harder time. So that's my take on Terapagos. I definitely recommend trying it out, and I think that the team that Justin, Nick, and I used, or Nick and I used, Justin built is and Andrew's team as well, very similar, is one of the stronger ways to do it.
I think it's funny the stream last week, the stuff that's like not intuitive, like the baby Terra Starstorm doing more damage. We did have like a game against Lunala that like Rajan was like yelling at Alex to do stuff, and I was saying game 3 like, don't Terra the turtle, just do the baby Terra Starstorm on this thing. And Rajan was just like yelling like, no, are you stupid? Just Terra it immediately. And then like 2 games, like 2 sets later or whatever, after we like Terra turn 1 and lost because of it, we did a baby Starstorm and it O-code something, and Rajan was like, what? I didn't know it did that much damage.
Yeah, so let's say this. I have been on the Tub stream in the last week. You've heard my thoughts out loud within the last week. And I won this.
And he won a regional!
His team was really, really broken. I cannot emphasize this enough.
Aaron was talking to me about this too. It's always been. Now I've broken this habit a little bit. Nick knows that I know now, and that like I have to play. I have to be aggressive. I need to think through my piece. Like I know that I have to play well to do well. But it's always been like my ideal to team build my way to a regional win. That's like frankly all I've ever really wanted to do.
He just wants to play solitaire, like, guys.
I have always wanted to play solitaire and win because my solitaire was better than your like free cell. Like I don't know, but like I've always wanted to just do that. And I was not bad this weekend. I was not Chuppa when he won his regional. I was not the way Michael was when he won his regional. I was not playing that precisely, but it didn't fucking matter because I had a shotgun.
What about the guy that won Portland?
I don't remember that tournament, but like Andrew played finals better than I did.
Oh, you mean Joe? Yeah, Joe won Portland, right? Yeah, it was in top 4 at that tournament. He beat Dozo in finals. Yeah. What about Joe?
Oh my god, man.
He had sleep patterns, right? That's why he won.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of just like had to plop my bike on the table and go win. Like, let me tell you this: Aaron and I both top cut with Miraidon. Not only did like head empty a lot of it, Aaron and I, both of us, not only brought Miraidon to every single game of the tournament, we led Miraidon every single game of the tournament. Mm-hmm. There was not a single game in which either of us did not lead Miraidon. It was that head empty.
Yes. I do love that. I mean, I feel like that's what you're supposed to be aiming to do. I know that you're talking about, like, you always aim to win the game the easiest way possible, like, with the solitaire type thing, or, like, have a plan for everything. But I think that in general, restricted Pokemon formats, if you can just be on the aggression from turn 1, that's got to be a good sign, because your opponent has to react, and then you can make calls, you can, play around them playing predictably. I really think that, that's like a something that you want to aim for.
And I thought about it like a couple of times. Like, what if I put Miraidon in the back and do something fancy here? And every time I thought about it, I was like, but then I miss out on Volt Switch. So then I undid that thought process and just led the motherfucker. Like, it's all you had to do.
And so I think that the two teams that got first and second here are a good example of that. But the team that got third here is a bit of a opposite end of the spectrum, a bit more of a reactive approach. Justin, let's talk about your team. Here you have you were the highest finishing Calyrex Ice. Based off of resistance and stuff. You and Leonard both finished in top 4 with the Calyrex Ice, and yeah, your team is it's not exactly like reminiscent of like what we were seeing in Regulation F, but it is probably like what is considered balanced now. Rajan and Andrew Zhang's team are a bit more aggressive, a bit more offensive. This team has offensive options, but I would say it's falls a bit more in line with like balance. Would you agree or no?
I think so. I think Cali Ice in general allows you to be more aggressive with your like support pieces that you would normally consider on balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you set Trick Room, Amoongus becomes a threat. Going first, getting a score off, that's something that puts immense pressure in the face of like a mon that can click Glacial Lance. And you couldn't really do that in Reg F with Amoongus. Like, sure, we had P2 Amoongus, but P2's no Cali Ice.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really wanted to like have a super offensive mon and also like set Trick Room and also have Amoongus, you had to have 3 Pokemon. Now you can only do it in 2. So like Amoongus Cali Ice, extremely deadly duo.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I think Cali Ice takes full advantage of is how insane of a Pokemon Raging Bolt is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Like
Bolt's
Raging
so fucking
Bolt,
broken. And
I
Justin
think
used Bolt the best.
Yeah, I think Raging Bolt has like I think it's fair to say it has restricted stats, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I think Jody or someone made a tweet comparing its stats to like base Kyurem, which base Kyurem has a lot of stats despite being base Kyurem. And Raging Bolt's like really similar. So it's pretty insane of a mon. It's like having a second restricted. It has extremely good synergy with Cali Ice, just because Bolt Beam, Ice, and Electric.
Bolt? Did
Extremely
someone
good
say
coverage
Bolt Beam?
together. Yeah, you can like a lot of
Thunderclap is faster than Lucky.
That's true. You like a lot of Pokemon are running like Amoongus is running Terra Water to be a Cali Ice resist. Bolt says, "I don't care, you die."
Mm-hmm.
The absolute worst part about using Miraidon was not having a Raging Bolt. That was by far the worst part about using that mon.
It's an extremely good Pokemon.
Flap Lance.
And also, ironically, Raging Bolt's the only mon in the game that gets Rising Voltage.
It is so weird. So strange. Armarouge was the only Pokemon to get Expanding Force for a while, and that like kind of worked. It was interesting. This is just strange. I've gotten hit by that on the in-game ladder. Never on like a best of 3 situation or anything. Anyways, Justin, 2 people asked in chat almost simultaneously. It was kind of comedic. How often you clicked coaching on the Urshifu?
So I didn't click coaching as much as I did in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching used to be coaching used to be really good into the Ice Rider mirror. It's not as much anymore as kind of I labbed it out. I think I clicked it. I think if you want to dodge like Thunderclap, it's a good move to click.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of good in like beefing up the Cali Ice. Like I don't know. I think it's just a good move, and it was definitely better than Aqua Jet.
Yeah.
I think maybe going forward you'd have to run like Ice Spinner, because I think that would help a lot with Miraidon.
Owned. Anyways, one other question. Go ahead.
I see the question. So boosters is for damage. I think AV. I think Raging Bolt it's really bulky on its own. You don't necessarily need the AV. Booster lets you protect, which is another defensive option that AV doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And also just the damage is really good. Like you can Terra Thunderbolt and it does like 60% or more to Cali Ice. I think it did like 90% to Leonard's like Turbo Instant.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I don't know. It's just a really good move to click just Thunderbolt. And it obviously makes the Thunderclaps do a lot of damage. I think you Oko Urshifu's that Terra out of the electric weakness into like a neutral. Like so if there is a Terra Ghost Urshifu, Terra Thunderclap Okos it.
That is actually pretty sick. And you do also have the Draco Meteor as well to do significant damage to Pokemon like Amoonguss.
Yeah, and just kind of quick shout out to Zomog because he was kind of had the idea of Booster Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
I know like the rest of the team, the rest of the five like the Pelly, Ursh, and Cinnamon Cali Ice had been kind of standard.
Mm-hmm.
But Zom kind of had the Booster Bolt idea, and it actually is something I'm used to playing with because I use Booster Bolt on like Blood Moon or Saluna Trick Room at EUIC.
Yep.
I'll say that for Justin's too. Like the inclusion of Protect really can't be overstated. Like AV Bolt just has so many stats and like does a lot of things, but I think Justin's Bolt was just really, really, really more threatening than the bolts that like couldn't protect and also like couldn't fucking kill you for no real reason. Like, not to say that Cali Ice isn't a hard carry, but it also isn't a bad thing to like not to have additional Pokemon that are like really impactful. That you have to provide some amount of real estate towards respecting, and I think just Protect so strong.
Yeah.
Cali Ice, as good as it is, I think probably more than other restricteds, it can kind of get walled out by certain things, especially like if they have wide guard with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bolt kind of helps alleviate that a bit.
Is Booster Draco Okoing AV Bolt without Terra? I don't think so. I think it can take a single Draco.
I think he gets it.
I can't remember.
I think they have to Terra. I think they have to Terra.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then it comes down to a bit of a speed game. Let's talk about Leonard's team, also on a similar archetype here. Leonard actually opted for a couple of funny choices here. Now we're looking at this.
Leonard's funny choices.
The Amoonguss is Focus Sash with no Protect. It has that Clear Smog, which is helpful into certain Pokemon like, I guess, Iron Defense Zamazenta. If you can, force it to Terra Grass or something, you can get rid of those defense boosts. As well as, maybe like Calm Mind Terapagos, though. We'll talk about that in a second on how absent that is from the top. The funny thing, though, is the Safety Goggles Giraffe with the Uproar. It's just the wake-up call.
I scammed Leonard really hard. I played Leonard at the round 9 of day 1, and I looked at his team, and the thing that's the scariest about the Cali Ice matchup into Miraidon is if it's Terra Grass. Yes, this was the one with the Turbo Incineroar. This was Jolly Incin. But I looked at Leonard's team and I scammed him. And he led Amoonguss, Calyrex Ice, and I led Miraidon or Saluna. And I just Terra Electric discharged, killed his Calyrex through Amoonguss, and won the game on the spot. And was only able to do that because of all of the unconventional choices on Leonard's side of the field. And I quite appreciated that.
So Leonard and Nick Borgi will be on the channel at some point. I'm recording with them this week to talk about their team. So if you want to hear more about, I think Leonard sent me, I haven't read it yet, Leonard sent me a photo that has like 3 paragraphs worth of Uproar mechanics that we are going to cover. So get ready for that. It's very exciting.
Oh my god, the Leonard video is actually just the Wobble Tech teaches you about mechanics.
That's
like
awesome.
The Wobble Tech?
I did say that wrong.
The Wobble Tech.
That's the new, that's just the new name for his series now. Like, you coined something sick. Yeah. No, good job.
But other than those texts, which I think, maybe got more or less some value, you'll have to ask Leonard in the team report. The rest of the team has a lot of standard pieces. Justin, what were you trying to say?
I do like a lot of the things Leonard did. He notably was he played Cali Ice in 22 as well as myself.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we both finished top 4 means that I do feel like we kind of had a lot more
Kindred
experience.
spirits.
Yeah, we had a lot more experience on the archetype than most people, and so I do feel like it's that
I
kind
also
of
played
shows.
Cali Ice in 22, so if when you're talking
How
about
did you
Leonard
do
and
it in
you, could you
Indianapolis?
include me? Just like Leonard, you, and me.
Alex, how did you do it, Indy?
I'd rather not talk about it.
I think you missed your flight.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh.
he's strong Cali Ice player. We had a very good set round 10, the first round of day 2.
Mm-hmm.
I managed to win. He did a good job to win. He won his 3 in a row, and then he got Nails who scooped. But
He would have made it in regardless.
Mm-hmm.
getting into cut after losing the first round.
Well, you started 8-1.
Yeah, but still
Mm-hmm. You
And
gotta
you
lock in to
went
do
kind
it.
of nuts.
You gotta lock in to do it.
I think you only lost once on the day.
Yeah, I only lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he
But-
only lost to me, and then he won out, and then I only lost to you, and I won out after that.
Let's talk about
I'll
the
say, like-
13-1, almost undefeated, but chose not to take it. Highest seed, top 8, Nick Navarre.
Lunch was so broken. That was so ideal.
I enjoyed my sandwich.
Lunch
Hell yeah.
break was so crazy.
So Nick, you also had a Urshifu that decided not to run Aquajet on the the non-scarf set. Actually, just Aquajet. It was a bad tournament for Aquajet. The scarf Urshifus were dropping Aquajet. The not scarf Urshifus were Aquajet. Apparently, Aquajet is just bad, guys. It's apparently bad 100% of the time. Take that as a fact.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I know Adi's ready to
Was
say like,
fun,
oh, there was an
though.
Aquajet Urshifu at like 10th.
I'm
No,
pulling it
that's
up.
Jody.
Legitimately, I was pulling it up, but my point was going to be that I think that when you get to your restricted format, everything changes. You have to reevaluate how your Pokemon play. That includes Urshifu, that went from the strongest, most powerful hitting Pokemon in the game to no longer that. And it is usually the second or third strongest Pokemon in your team now, right? And so you need to reevaluate what it's doing. And I think that Taunt was really cool. It put in a lot of work for me at the very least, but yeah, I'm not surprised that Aquajet is
Was
reducing
Taunt good
in
for you?
value, and that
Oh yeah, Taunt was excellent. It
Could I-
just provided a bunch of pressure into Trick Room setting, blocks spores. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean Aquajet, like if I could have 5 moves, yeah, Aquajet would have been my 5th move, but it would have been helpful in some situations, but Taunt was definitely better.
Mhm.
It wasn't
Uh,
especially close.
the top 4 Aquajet Urshifus were all on Kyogre teams, and that is not the top 4 Urshifus. There are a lot of Urshifus. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. I had a turn. Speaking of taunt, where I taunted my opponent's Incineroar as they went for Thunderclap. They dodged the Thunderclap and then also got the parting shot and just like popped off and won my set because of it. So it's super
literally
cool. It
had
enables
that
so much
turn.
stuff.
I literally had that exact turn on stream against Z. Yeah, I thought I was pretty screwed in game 1, but that exact turn, I got to kill the Raging Bolt and lock the Incineroar on the board, and it was in range for the next T-Wave, and just that turn by itself completely swung
That's
the
kinda
game
base.
down 2-4, and
That
Yeah.
seems like a good good tech then. I mean, if the move, it seems like a common situation that can come up, so that's cool. Yeah.
You're both welcome.
Discharge, baby.
The builder does it
Are you
again.
gonna ask me? Are you gonna ask me about how my team was built, Alex?
Ah, god damn it. Yeah. Go ahead, Justin. Tell me how Nails' team was built.
Well, how Nails' team was finalized is I got to the hotel room, and Nick pulled out his laptop and he was like, "Okay, Justin, tell me what all these EV spreads do."
Yep.
But basically, I was like, after VR, I really liked Oi's team, so I decided to kind of build my own version of Specs Tropicos. And I had Flutter over the Raging Bolt, so actually I think the same 6 as Andrew Zhang's team. But I wanted to try Raging Bolt, and I really liked that. So I was testing that a lot. I did run. I like the Cali Ice matchup. I was just destroying every Cali Ice that I played on ladder, and I hit like well over 1700s because like everybody on ladder was using Cali Ice. And then I started playing non-Cali Ice teams, and then I struggled a little bit, especially into like other bolts. Like AV bolt was hard to break, Combine bolt was hard to break. So I was like, okay, I'll just go back to Cali Ice. But Nick really liked the team, so he kept playing with it, and he decided to load it up for the event, and he started 13-0. He played a lot of Cali Ice.
So Nick, I didn't ask anybody else about their runs, but Nick, I want you to tell me about your day one.
Yeah, so I played round one was actually one of the harder matchups I played all tournament. It was a clear amulet Calm Mind Kyogre, so I couldn't snarl, which is bad for a team with double snarl as its main answer to like special threats. But it was round one, so I kind of player diffed my way through that. Rounds 2 through 6, I played against Cali Ice all 5 rounds. The first 4 I won in 2-0. The sixth, or round 6, the fifth one, was less clean, but I dodged a hurricane and pulled some shenanigans. But Mars played it really well, so shout out to Marco Martinez. I stole a set from him. And round 8 was also against Z, who was on Cali Ice.
Yep.
So yeah, I played 6 of my 9 rounds against Calyrex Ice Rider, a mon that was at 18% usage in the tournament, and it was by far my best matchup. Go Tom. Thanks for that one.
Yeah,
Oh
shoutouts
my
to
God.
shoutouts to Tom for that one. The tournament software that gives you the pairings. Just saying, you know, Nick, here's another one.
Wait. Do mine.
All
I
right.
had a funny
Rajan, I can look at your schedule real quick.
I had a funny too.
What was the thing about yours? I actually don't think I heard it.
Tournament. What?
I actually didn't hear the funny thing about your tournament. What was it? I hadn't heard it before.
I was doing a Miraidon, right? And Miraidon traditionally has issues with both Raging Bolt and Rillaboom. Count how many rounds it took me to find me one of those.
Well, you played it on stream.
Yeah, that was my first, and like, I only played Rillaboom twice, and they were both on stream. It took me until round 6 to get a single one of Raging Bolt or Rillaboom, which was pretty cool. And then I started like actually playing the matchup. Like my first round was also one of my hardest rounds of the day because they had Amoonguss as well as Indeedee, which was cheating. But then I played no other hard things for a while. Round 4 was actually pretty tough, but yeah, it took me forever to find a Rillaboom, and it took me forever to find.
Okay, I think I get to talk about my run for 30 seconds.
Fine, go ahead and tell us about your run. I wanted Nick to just tell me how many Calyrex Ice he played, but yes, please talk about your run, real quick.
This is more of a brag than oh, look at this funny schedule. So I played.
End up being bad.
What my only losses were to Z, who we built the team together, so it was a pure mirror, and Rajan, who won the tournament, and I beat everyone else.
Yep.
My day 2 schedule was particularly insane because everybody in it finished 11-3 or better.
That is obscene.
And my resistance was like 76%, and that includes the other top 4 player Leonard. It includes Rajan and Swiss. It was Jody who also used my team, and so it was another mirror, and then Andrew Zeng who got second. So everyone I played like had a very fantastic tournament, and I went 4-1. So I'm actually pretty proud of that Swiss run.
You played everyone else in the top 4 during your Swiss run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez, a very, very sweaty schedule.
What the fuck?
Top 16s. The lowest placing person was what is that? 16, 15.
Top 16 Groudon player.
Yeah, the Groudon guy who got 12th. That was the lowest placing in the lowest placing player I played against in day 2 got 12th.
I feel like I'm getting baited in the chat.
Yeah.
Wait, Roger,
anyways,
what'd you say?
ignore the chat.
Fuck you, Adi. That's crazy. You don't get to just say that.
I'm not super familiar with this player, Jose Torres, and I'm sorry, Jose, but you are going to be my example for two things. Jose played against Rajan on stream, and notably did not bring Calyrex Shadow to either of the two games that they played. And
sorry.
This is what the things that this tells me is like, one, I feel like if you can't bring your restricted to every game, like as Nick said, you need a new Pokemon. Even though this is like Shadow Rider, I definitely still think that Pokemon is broken. It's strong. I will never stop respecting Shadow Rider. The other thing, bringing it back to an idea that we talked about earlier, I can't remember if it was Rajan or Nick who said it, but we were talking about like, or maybe it was actually Adi, who said like, when you come to a new format, you need to reanalyze old ideas, basically. Like you have to challenge old ideas. And I feel like everyone running these Shadow Rider balance teams are just trying to play Reg F with a new guy, with a special horse that is clicking Astral Barrage every turn. And it's obviously scary and decently strong. We saw several people get day 2 with this, but I just feel like these people aren't leaning in on the strengths of these Pokemon.
I fundamentally agree.
Just playing like actual archetypes. Adi, what are you trying to say?
I disagree, because Mike and I were talking about this in Tub a little bit, because we played a lot of Series 10. I
swear to God, this guy never shuts up about Series 10. I'm so sick of hearing Series 10.
It is the only format that is even remotely comparable to this format. Right?
Dude, he's like...
I know, he looks like like an anime girl pleading. Please listen to me.
It's yeah, boo hoo, I have a fucking opinion. Give me a break.
Yes,
let me do my take without being interrupted, for fuck's sake. Come on.
Give your take. Give your take.
Roger.
My take is that, and Mike agrees with me. Mike had the take, and I agreed with him. Is that it took us a little bit to realize that CSR balance was just the best thing you can be doing in Series 10. But once we figured that out, like that, it was over. Like that was all. It was either CSR balance or Zation balance. Obviously, Zation's a very different Pokemon, but I think that the CSR, the balancing CSR stuff is one of the stronger teams in the format. I don't think it did poorly because it is inherently weak. I think it did poorly because it had a target on its back. I think like you saw Wolf win a big tournament with it, and Wolf has a huge sway over a lot of the VGC community. And so it just like
This takes fucking shit. No, this is.
I have a question, because I said something about like, if we've already found like Rilla, Amoonguss, Ensign, Urshifu Water, and like Pelipper, and CSR's still not popping off, then it's already cooked. And someone was like, no, CSR balance came after that. So like, what was CSR balance? What were the mons on that team?
The CSR balance team was okay.
CSR.
Was it not Ensign, Rilla, Shroom, Ursh? Like
it was.
There's a Neeligo on the team, and there's a Whimsicott on the team. No, it wasn't.
Everything in Series 10 was Ensign, Rilla, Shroom, Ursh,
hold up.
something.
If it has Nihiligo and Whimsicott on the team, is that really balanced? Because those do not scream like balance. That does not scream balance to me.
I am pulling it up right now. I'll be honest, I do not exactly remember what the 6 Pokemon were. What I do think that. No! What the? Jesus Christ, man. My opinion is not that the same 6 Pokemon that were good in Series 10, one of which is not in the game, are going to be good again. Obviously, that's not the take. Why would you take this?
Yeah, you're supposed to set one more over the Nihiligo. Come on.
I refuse to acknowledge any team that has Whimsicott on it as balance.
Yeah, pretty true.
Go. Adi's turn. Hands in the air. Don't shoot. Your turn.
All I'm saying is, I think CSR balance is good. I think that it did very well in the grassroots tours leading up to this tournament. You saw it. There were a couple CSR teams in Buenos Aires. Like, I think that this tournament at Indy was especially hostile to CSR. I think There are two main reasons why I think CSR did poorly. One, I think the metagame was hostile to it. I think a lot of people looked at it as the number one threat. If you look at every tier list from every player, it is the number one overall Pokemon, if not number two, right? Number one and number two with Ice Rider. We're going to reevaluate that moving forward. But I think that everyone looking at this tournament said, I do not want to lose to CSR. The second thing, and you could pull up the list of players who use CSR. With all due respect, it is not as impressive a list of players as some of the other the players who use some other Pokemon. And the example I'll give is Kyogre. You realistically, a Pokemon is like the best player who used CSR in this tournament was Joe UX9 by far, right? The rest.
Jeremy Parsons had a really good season.
I was going to say Dylan Salvanera, Jeremy Parsons. There's a few other people who are very good players. But I counted like Mark Jackson's pretty good. But like when the player quality, compare that to Kyogre, right? Where the player quality is okay. You have regional champion Shiliang Tang, regional champion Pengi, regional champion Andrew Ding, regional champion Justin Tang, regional champion Giovanni Costa, regional champion Colin Heyer, right? Like that's just 6 players who use Kyogre. So if you told me who was using CSR, who's using Kyogre, if you were to right, like Rajan had you and Aaron Trailer, right? Like those are 2 really, really good players. And like I'll be honest, I'll take the odds of Rajan winning a tournament over the odds of the second best CSR player winning a tournament. And like that is part of it, is that like
it sounded like a dig.
If
I think Jeremy
that is not
Gen 9 formats. No offense.
Yes. Okay. Again, I really want to impart that like this is not an insult to any of the CSR players, and I especially am impressed by the CSR players because I just said the metagame is so hostile to a CSR that I think it is especially impressive that the players who made day two and did as well as they did with it. But I think that on top of the metagame being hostile, in fact, I was just talking to Sandy, I think, on Twitter, about how the number one predictor of day 2 performance is actually, or other than ELO, is how many years you've been playing Pokemon. Like the more experienced players, the more established players, if you look at what they are using, they were not using CSR. And therefore, it is not surprising that, especially even after it converted to day 2, it didn't do especially well in day 2 when there were not a ton of like well-established players who were using CSR that made it to day 2. Right?
I don't know.
And I think that is. I have a rebuttal.
So,
has Adi finished
Alex.
his point? I will allow Rajan's rebuttal if Adi has finished his point.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my fault. It's my tub take was I didn't want to hear the rest of Adi's point.
Oh.
No, I agree. I think CSR balance is very strong. I think CSR is very strong. I had 2 normal types and an AV dark type. I understand why Jose did not bring CSR into me. My rebuttal, though, if you can go to my schedule, please.
Okay, yeah, back to Rajan's schedule.
And I want you to pull up my set against Ethan Matos. They go by Splatty Daddy Online.
It's true.
They were in chat a second ago, actually.
Yeah, Splatty Day was hanging out.
They finished 20th.
They did pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want you to pull up their team for me, put it on the chat. I played them, round 13. They were Screens, Grimmsnarl, Calm Mind, Terragrass, Cresselia, Tinglu, with Zam, and I still led Miraidon every game. And that's all I have to say is if you look at the thing and put your machine gun to bed, your machine gun sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, that's exactly that. I think that actually, like your team was not a balanced team. You were playing with the machine gun. CSR is probably not the best machine gun in the format, right? I don't know if it's the best balanced Pokemon in the format, but I think that's at least an argument that you maybe should be trying to use it as a more balanced Mon than as a nuke everything Mon. And we really, really, really have not seen the nuke everything version do very well outside of the one Mienshao that made top cut at Buenos Aires. It's not a machine gun. It's just not a machine gun anymore. That's the point.
The take.
I mean, I think it is supposed to be a
Justin.
machine gun.
Oh, you can't see my camera. I did a high five at the cam. Thank you.
No, I think it is a machine gun. I just think that it's a machine gun that has holes in its coverage, and so it's not supposed to be used in this format. I think CSR is going to murder everything once we get it too restricted, and it's not forced to be the carry for every game and get over every mountain that your opponent puts in its way. It's just not meant to be a single restricted solo hard carry, and that's what your Uber is supposed to do in single restricted. It's supposed to hard carry your team no matter what matchup it is, and so CSR is just not built for single restricted. It's still spooky. It still is like it still has the best individual tool in Grimney Astral Barrage. Like that goes crazy in most matchups. But it's really tough to go 11-3 if like 4 or 5 of your opponents can just wall your Uber out of the game. Like that's not sustainable.
Well, so Rajan's Uber can also be walled out of the game. Just no one chose to do it, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is that like the meta is
moving forward.
Where
and the meta is going to be somewhat cyclical, right? Like we are going to see, like Maridon went to tournament. People are going to start running Maridon hate. People are going to start running Rillaboom over Amogus. Rillaboom underachieved this tournament. Amogus did relatively well.
That was so good for me, by the way.
Right, like similarly, if Terapagos is the second best restricted, then CSR is probably in an awkward spot. The other hot take I have, this one's it also contributes to CSR's demise.
Sound the alarm.
Is that I think that talking to people this weekend who didn't go to Indy, obviously, people were not fully ready for the Specs Terapagos set or the like more aggressive Terapagos teams. And if you look at, I pulled up Joe's CSR team, right? It's like it's Double Grass, it's Psyshock, Nasty Plot, Calyrex, right? Like, was he running a CM? Was he running CM Bolt too? Like, it felt like a team. Too. It felt like a team that looked at Terapagos as a Pokemon that was like Terapagos is CSR's worst matchup. You have to tech really hard for that to do well. It seemed like a team that was built to beat the Combine Terapagos sets. If you Nasty Plot in front of the Combine set and you're trading +2 for +1 and you Psyshock them, you're winning that game easily, right? But if you end up facing the Meteor Beam and Spec set over and over again, you're just going to get outpaced. You don't have time to get the setup move. And so in that sense, I think that the CSR players also probably teched their team out to beat the wrong version of their worst matchup. And that might also have contributed as well.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm hearing is that the CSR players weren't paying attention to the meta and they brought a bad team. I
agree.
Maybe they bring a better restricted next time. Like,
come on.
Well,
when hypothetical person won Portland, they were the only one that got a Reg F opinion, right?
That's true.
That's that. So, okay. Mm-hmm. So, considering that only one person's currently allowed a Reg G opinion,
true.
I will say that I think both sides are valid. No, I think that
don't take both sides, bro.
No, it's just there's just something fundamentally extraordinarily offensive. I don't mean saying slurs. I mean just like an offensive format that comes from like single restricted. Like it's just like the most. I really strongly believe that it's the most skewed rock format that we will play.
Yeah.
Even like double restricted gets like more frankly like fair than single restricted because double restricted can use restricteds to cover up their matchup spreads and it's like a little bit more fair. Single restricted is like really fucking aggro. It's extraordinarily aggro. And my just problem with like and I know that I did, and maybe this is Captain Hindsight talking a little bit because I did take the most aggro thing possible and played extremely well. Just throwing that out there. Like there was a lot of tools built into it, but like I feel like things that are Reg F plus are just a tempo behind, and it's too easy to get dominated by the really aggro things. And if you're opting into a slower pace off the rip, then you are choosing to have fewer weapons in the format. And like, I agree that CSR is fundamentally powerful, especially with Pokemon that are fundamentally powerful. But if you are choosing to do damage second or choosing for your damage to be less overwhelming immediately, then you leave yourself open to losing. And that's my problem with it, like in that kind of construction. I think that like, I had a really great time against players who were leaning on their balance, on their offense coming out turns 2 to 3 because mine came out turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3, and by the time they got going, they'd already lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like if you're approaching a single restricted format kind of like if you're approaching a single restricted format like it's one
Like
tool
F5.
among others, you're just not placing your offense in the right places.
What you're saying is Cali Ice is bad.
Yeah, true.
No,
He said it.
So yes and no, but no, not really, because you don't lock Cali Ice out of the game unless you're opting into not pressing offensive buttons. So if neither of you are pressing offensive buttons, it's a little bit of a different dynamic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If you're pressing wide guard and you're pressing Glacial Lance, that's a 1-for-1. So your Raging Bolt in the other slot gets to carry. Like it's a little bit of a different dynamic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's the same thing that Benesanta has going for it.
I don't know if we actually finished talking too much about Nick's team, though. I think we talked a lot about the Spectrometer stuff. And so I do want to finish at least covering the top 8 teams. I don't think we need to spend too much time on trailers. Trailer had the same stuff, but with Ditto over the Ogre Pond. Was there any other like small differences, Rajan, or was it just that?
I don't. There's like very tiny things that aren't like that don't really change the nature of the game. It's just he thought that Ditto was based as fuck and got inspired by like Agati's like.
No, I'm saying, is there anything different between
Ditto.
besides the 2 mods?
Just a couple EV spread.
Just like some EV spreads.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it was just his vibes versus my vibes.
Yeah, got it. Minor stuff. All right. Schilling though ran a team that a couple of top players opted to stick to and had a deep run with it. Let's at least get these teams talked about.
You're welcome, Shiliang.
They were they'd been working on that for like a month in their Tang group chat.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to apologize formally to Splatty Daddy because their matchup into me was so good that I scooped the last round of the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Word on the street was Rajan didn't want Splatty Daddy in cut.
Their resistance was too fucking. Their matchup was too good.
This team though definitely is interesting. The things that stand out to me are Assault Vest Kyogre, the Serena not having Helping Hand. Most of them don't choose to run Protect. It's not as necessary because it's already kind of safe from those fake out type boards. But you still might want to keep it around if it's going to be O-code by like a Glacial Lance, and that could be nice to let it stick around without having to burn your Terra. And then just Specs Flutter, just kind of chilling here. Like just existing on the team as another way of dealing damage. This team is the best color synergy in the tour. I think you might be right on that, Abai.
That's entirely color synergy. I like it though for what it's worth. Like Rain is it does feel strong. I just think Juggy sucks, and I don't understand that mon.
I still don't think it's very good either, but
Juggy's good on this comp.
I get pressing Hurricane is more active than pressing anything else, and AV Ogre makes up for the fact that like the opposing Tailwind mon doesn't kill you fast enough. Like I get the thoughts there.
Mm-hmm.
Juggy's so dog shit, man.
The comp uses it well.
I believe it.
Yeah. True.
It's one that I'll have to try out myself to get a full understanding of it, but it does just look fine. Having to run Wide Lens is cooked. I think it's probably the best option for Serena, though Audie will always talk loaded dice, I think, on the Serena, if you can afford it.
If you have an Arcaludon specifically, then yeah.
Loaded dice plus Arky is so funny.
It's pretty funny. And that loaded dice triple axle mechanic is a little goofy.
The one thing I want to point out one thing about this team, Flutter has not been getting much representation in this meta, and I just think Flutter is being slept on for no good reason, pretty much. And these guys just had Specs Flutter that didn't have to carry the game, but it's still a Specs Flutter main, and it can still come in and carry a game when it wants to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there are restricteds that just get kind of messed up by Specs Flutter and Tailwind, and I think people weren't ready for that mon, and people still aren't paying enough attention to that guy. So look for Specs Flutter to win games of Pokemon moving forward in this format. Apparently, that's a hot take, but
I will
yeah,
continue to
um,
sleep on.
Dang.
I'd
The
like to talk
other
about
take.
the Incineroars. Sorry,
I have one more Fluttermane take if I can do that first.
Yeah.
Which is that I not only do I agree with Fluttermane is good, but it's interesting that there were so few booster energy Flutter. When I look at Shiliang's team, the big weakness of Jugulus is obviously that it can be outsped and just kind of threatened, not necessarily KO'd, but threatened at least by Speed Booster Flutter, Icy Wind Flutter, right? Stuff like that. And that was basically nowhere. There were 4 in day 2, 4 out of 12 had booster energy. And like it was not super common in day 1 either. So that was, I guess, the more common day 1. Did not have a great conversion rate. But yeah, that's the one thing that I look at and say this team might be a little weak to that. But yeah, it's just a good meta call on that. It wasn't really around.
Yeah, Bloody, the call is called live stream content for a reason, but all good. If it's any other stream besides Tub Takes, you could probably just hop in. Honestly, Tub Takes you could probably also hop into, but it would be a little bit more unpredictable. Anyways,
a little full.
Go ahead.
Can we go through Incineroars? Because one thing that I do think that is funny about this format, and I've been saying it, and I think Incin, like as traditionally run, is pretty bad. But I did get myself sold on the AV Incineroar, and I'm just curious what the like normal Incineroar, like every Incineroar I saw was like knockoff, either Whisper Taunt, fake out Parting Shot, and how do we feel about that? Because it just like screams dog shit to me, and I don't know why.
What about the ones
so
that
my
ran close
take on
combat?
this-
Whoa, the close combat one got top 32. Hold on. On the CSR team. This makes sense. You gotta hit the other Incin. This is sick.
You sure do.
Why not just put the clear amulet on this guy? Terra fighting. I wanna throw hands at the other Incin.
Okay, fair enough.
Is the world ready for my Incineroar takes?
The world is ready, Nick.
Okay, so that guy's mid. He's just not good at doing any of his roles. Intimidate has never been worse. All of the restricteds get access to clear amulet, or sorry, all the physical ones get access to clear amulet. Like every single one of them.
Zamazenta and Shambles.
So true.
It doesn't use its attack stat. Yeah, Intimidate doesn't affect that guy. I mean, it counts heavy slam, but dies to body press. So, yeah, just Intimidate. Never been worse. It still is not a terrible ability. You can cut GN Pow's damage. You can cut Rillaboom's damage. There's a few physical attackers running around, but a lot of them just have a clear amulet or have surging strikes. So it doesn't get to intimidate much. Their fake out's a good move in a couple of matchups. Most notably, like my restricted and Rajan's restricted guys with choice specs can't really protect against it. So fake out's good there. I'm not gonna take that away from it, but it has to.
I will say fake out's a little better against your restricted than my restricted.
That's true.
My restricted really enjoyed seeing Incineroar on the other side of the field.
I mean, you also had a Ferrograph, which helps.
Yeah. But yeah, Ferrograph or Sarina are also very common. So just fake out it's like fine. It's definitely been better in the past, but it's also been worse in the past. It's like okay. Knockoff it doesn't. So like Flare Blitz and Knockoff both just aren't really damage options. The high value targets for those moves would be like CSR, who just tears out of it. There's Ice Rider, who like is normally going to be at it's got an Incineroar on its own, so it doesn't really take that much damage from it. Like just the big targets are all going to be able to tear out of the move, and so it doesn't get to serve its role as a dark and fire type attacker terribly effectively into important targets. And it's just like parting shot. He even has to parting shot into clams. Like
There's
Just pressing knock and then pressing parting shot is also just really slow.
it is very
it's
slow.
extraordinarily slow.
There's only one person's instant take I want to
The
hear in
only
response
instant-
though, and it's
I
not the
only
winner
ever
of the
intimidated-
Indianapolis regional. It's actually Justin Burns, because Justin Burns is one of Instin's
Okay, but
last
I only
defenders.
intimidated one thing all tournament.
I believe it though, honestly.
I am one of Insyn's strongest. So I think Insyn's definitely harder to use in this format. But I still think that its roll compression is unmatched. And that's why we see it used more in restricted formats pretty consistently. I just think that you can't really get away with just saying, I'm going to bring Insyn to this game and it's going to work out and I'm just going to have it when I need it. You have to be very deliberate about how you use it. In particular, like especially on Ice Rider, you want to have it like kind of in the middle of the game where it's like, okay, I've kind of forced them into a passive board state. I can bring in Insyn, I can click fake out, trigger him, and I win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the strongest way for me to use Incineroar personally. I also think the tech moves are very important now. We see a lot of them running Will-O-Wisp. I chose to run Taunt. Taunt was very powerful. The moveset's very team dependent. You can't really just say I'm going to use the strongest instance set and I knock off parting shot, flare blitz, fake out. You have to really decide what works best for your team. So it's not like a brainless Pokemon. It's probably not. I mean, maybe it's not a 70% usage Pokemon. It might still be a 70% usage Pokemon, but I definitely think it's still a top tier non-restricted.
Yeah. So I think I don't think it's not a top tier non-restricted. I think 70% is super cap. I think it's supposed to be like half that. I think 30 or 40, like maybe 45, is a lot more reasonable, and that still puts it as like third or fourth in usage. Like it's still good, I think. And on Ice Rider teams especially, I think Insyn has a really good place. I think it just belongs on those comps. Like they get maximal value out of its positioning tools. They want the resistances and don't rely on it for damage output. They get a lot of value out of just being able to run either Whisper Taunt, and they get to knock off safety goggles to enable their Amoonguss. Like there's so much stuff that it does for Ice Rider. I just think the other comps are not supposed to be trying to play instant games because Ice Rider does that better.
I do still think it should be over 50% usage. Like I think that if I see that, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Well, that makes sense. You either see Insyn or you don't.
CSR bounce back, by the way. The Insyn is the worst slot for the CSR teams by far.
That's what I was going to say. I think that, yeah, if Insyn drops down to 45% usage, CSR is all of a sudden the best restricted.
No, I'm not saying Insyn is what's holding CSR back.
No.
I'm like from a use perspective. I'm saying it's holding team building them back.
I think Insyn's one of the like. It's not that good into CSR, honestly. It's my take.
CSR, half the time it looks at a team and says, "Shit, there's 3 ghost resists," and that dropping down to 1 or 2 is going to be really favorable for it.
In the CSR, usually what if you lead?
Okay, here's another question: what usage would Insyn?
Come on. I'm saying if you lead Insyn into CSR, like with my team, you're gonna get faked out and nasty plotted on, and it's just you can't really do anything about it. You have to be more. Proactive with how you're handling the guy going for a plot, especially if they're Terra Fairy, right?
What were you trying to say though, Adi?
What was I going to try to say?
Probably
I forgot.
Important.
It's past it.
It's nothing important.
Sorry.
Surely.
It's top takes. There's nothing. There's never anything important on here.
Right.
What I will say is AV felt really good. I did like that guy.
I liked AV on Rajan's team. I don't want to talk more about Rajan's team. I've had enough of that guy. I'm sick of him. Honestly, it's been how long since he's won that thing? And honestly, I just have not stopped hearing about
it's been so long.
When's the last time you won a regional?
What was the last?
So just to be clear, we still have to cover one or two teams from Top Cut, and then also preview a couple events. So we
Yes.
probably should get a move on.
Yes.
Man, I have to
Why?
leave like right at 9 too.
Yes, exactly. So let's talk about Keanu's team, the last team in top 8 that I want to give a quick mention to, because Keanu's team is probably the most crazy team in the Top Cut. Sorry, Rajan. This team has so many weird ones. It's Zamazenta, which notably got like Keanu, how's it going? In the chat. But yeah, Keanu's team notably has Zamazenta, which got left off of the like tier list the commentators made on the stream. I thought it was really funny because like it was like in top 8 in usage for restricteds. Like it was, I think, 7th or something. And they ranked like Ho-Oh, Lugia, all these other restricteds, but they just left Zamazenta out. The mods being slept on, it's a solid restricted.
I think Keanu's team is probably the worst matchup I faced all tournament. And I know I saw Keanu tweet that the matchup was like really bad for them, but they're not correct. No offense. The matchup was really, really, really strong into Miraidon, specifically because Pao Zam is like a really aggressive and really impactful thing for a lot of comps right now. The only reason Keanu thought it was really bad is because they played Aaron. Aaron had Ditto, and Ditto fucked him. But in general, Shin Pao Zam is like really broken.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone knows how to beat that with Cali Ice, let me know.
Yeah. Just call us up.
If anyone knows how to beat that
Wait,
with
I know how to
let me know.
Anyways, I do want to give a quick shout to
Miraidon and hit in front of Icicle Crash hitting. Let me know.
That's true. That game was really rude. I remember that one. That was funny. It was funny
That was
in
God's
hindsight
plan,
because you
that's
were
timed out.
Mm-hmm. Also, yeah, Grim. We talked about this. I think Nick and I talked about this yesterday on stream, maybe. But Jody is absolutely right. You don't need min speed Cali Ice at all. Just run 31 IV. It's totally fine. Okay, talking about this team though. Quick shout. It was built by ESM. He's Zamazenta's strongest soldier. Absolutely. Regular tub participant. But
You
yeah,
may or may not be winning Los Angeles.
we'll see.
Gonna be a race to smart money him on sub takes in 2 weeks.
It
Right,
really will.
true. I don't get first dibs ever.
Run it.
Anyways, yeah, this team is really cool, and definitely really tricky. I think a lot of people won't know how to deal with some of the unorthodox stuff this team is doing. Choice Band Rillaboom is not something that's been seen since, what was it, Santino won Players Cup Invitational? Was that what it was called? Was that the one with Choice Band Rilla, or was it a different tournament that he won with? Was it just the Players Cup?
Cup 1.
It was just Players Cup.
He won Players Cup 1 with Players Cup.
Yeah. Too funny that the Choice Band Rilla is here.
Keanu did confirm my suspicions though in chat right now that they thought it was Aaron's team. I was like really tripping.
Bait got top 4 worlds with CB Rilla.
Wait.
We also saw. What's up?
No, go ahead. I didn't know that. I just didn't know that.
I did. For what it's worth, I did not remember that either. I had another.
didn't know that.
I thought I had another example in mind. Did Michael have CB on his Sacramento team, or was he Miracle? He was Miracle Seed, right?
No, it was Miracle
Miracle
Seed.
Speed.
Was this the
Michael,
the
you
20...
will not catch Michael dead running Assault Vest Rillaboom. You'll be like, that is not active enough.
right? Oh wait, no, this would be 2022 Worlds then, I guess.
Okay. Everyone's popping with results of CB Rilla. Okay, so maybe that mon has had more success than we remember.
I didn't know
We all
Eddie won
forgot.
Worlds that year with CB Rilla because I've to this day not watched those World Finals.
Have CV real fan.
It was CB Rilla, huh? Funny.
Oh, he was CV Rilla, huh?
Funny. You're supposed to say funny.
I swear to God he wasn't CV Rilla.
Apparently he was.
Well, I think history got rewritten, Burns, and you got ported over to a different timeline.
This is that one, I can't even, Mandela effect.
Yeah. All right. So, if you guys want us to talk more about the other teams, just tune into some later streams.
Oh, hold up. No. You guys are wrong. You guys are...
What?
Oh my God.
What?
I looked it up. It's AV. Edu was AV Rilla.
No, we're not talking about Edu.
Alex just lying.
Oh.
We're talking about Beck.
Then
James
Conic,
Beck.
I'm sorry, but you have to get timed out.
Talking about Edu, man.
Oh,
There's a
somebody
timeout.
else
Yeah,
said
no,
that?
Zen-
Oh.
Zenconic was talking about
No,
it in
dude,
chat.
Zenconic always joins the stream by saying meow, by the way. You can't mute him. You can't ban him.
Then Conic's on timeout.
No. We're not actually going to time you out, though. Okay, so guys,
No, of course
what I was
not.
trying to say, though, is we're going to probably have to move on from Indy because Justin has to go soon, and we've been spending way too much time talking about this. If you want to hear us talk more about the rest of the results, I'm sure we can fit that on another stream tomorrow. We'll just be hanging out. I'm streaming, like, almost every day of the normal week anyways. So, there's a lot of cool teams here. We'll definitely have to come back to talk about them. I do want to give a quick mention to Rajan's picture, just because Rajan is now on the graphic. Look at him.
I am. Can I
And-
say one thing while Justin is here? Really quick, last thing about
Of
Indy.
course.
When we were playing our top 4 set, and when we had the Raging Bolt Whimsicott endgame, and when both of us knew that it was going to take like 10 minutes, and we told the judges it was going to take 10 minutes, Justin knew that I didn't know how much PP Thunderclap had because I told him that while we were playing. So then he was trying to distract the shit out of me during that set. So like while we're waiting and while we're on stage, he says, "Is now a good time to finally tell you about the new Phantom Knights cards and Duel Links?" So he starts trying to talk to me about the fucking Duel Links expansion that we just got. And I'm like, Justin, I don't know how much PP this move has. Shut the fuck up right now. I'm trying to count these moves in this moment. And so Justin's out there playing 5D chess, using the verbal game to distract.
On a similar note, when Justin is the memory king, and so he'll probably remember better than me. But Justin, when we played in Top Cut of Secaucus, when I scammed you out of that set, you talked to me about something in the middle of one of the games that was very distracting.
Oh.
What was it?
I said no. Okay, no, you initiated that.
Okay. I believe it.
And I said I think
It's lost to him right
there's
now.
something about your I think it was like your Calyrex or like you were saying like something. I think I said I think Glacial Lance still kills. And then I think you thought I would protect my Cali Ice or something.
It was something like that. He was like, "Yeah, Glacial Lance just KOs here," and it was like he had the option to protect, and I was like, "But you could just protect," and then like he didn't.
Yeah, and
he didn't protect. So I thought he was mind gaming me into like attacking because.
Okay, that's not my fault. You started that.
You're right. I blame
Justin's
myself.
oral game is crazy.
Right? Okay, don't phrase it that way, please.
Yeah, I really regret that, but I meant like his talking parts.
Yeah. Maybe the other part.
I can also. Alex also talks a lot.
I never lie. I don't lie, bro.
I do.
I say what I think. I got mad at Rajan because he thought he lost when we got to like.
I did think I lost.
I was like, I got like, I mean, I had like whatever the like whatever the opposite of a pop off is. I was like, man, I messed up, and it was like, and he's like, I don't win, and I'm like, what do you mean you don't win?
Yeah, I did. I forgot my Thunderclap mechanics based off of like the 7th round on stream, and at the end of it, I was also preempting a pop off, which made Justin mad. I had my arm raised up like this, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Just wait for it." And then he didn't get the double protect, so I popped off.
Justin, do you think you said word for word like, "What do you mean you don't win"?
Yes,
Yeah.
I said that word for word.
I'm gonna go back at some point and look at your face cam to see if I can find the moment where you say, "What do you mean you don't win?"
That is what he said. It's like right after he thunderclapped. And I was like, I don't win. He's like, what do you mean you don't win? Justin wanted me to win that tournament more than he wanted him to win that
Oh
tournament,
my
in all
God,
honesty.
bro.
So
That's true.
Me too, honestly. Like,
I was like, I mean, winning would be nice, but I also like, I don't know.
We had to let Rajan into the regional club, but if, I mean, just a quick show of hands.
It was always gonna be a hard bracket for me because I had to go through 2 Miraidons or a Miraidon and Zamazenta, and then like a Specs Pagos in finals. And I know like I did win that matchup in round 14, but I think Angie probably would have, adjusted and figured something out because, like, Specs Pagos is not a great matchup for Ice Rider.
Rajan's going to be unbearable for the next, coming couple of years. And so there's nothing we're going to be able to do about that. But I just want you guys to know that for the past several years, Rajan's life has been,
unbearable the last several years.
That's true. The thing that we've always had over Rajan is just a quick show of hands. Who in the call has won 2 regionals, at least? And who in the call has won 2 of those in 2017? Oh wait, no, Justin didn't win it. Justin, you won 2 in 17, didn't you? Or was it not? No, dang it, you didn't.
What was
1 in 19
and 1 in 19?
Wait, what was your other one, Justin?
It was
19.
Philly in 19.
Oh, the Toxicroak team. The Toxicroak team. You know what? I'm thinking of a different.
That was the tournament. That was the tournament where Rajan became bad.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's what started it all.
Justin's team.
Yeah, Alex.
was
Me and
Roanoke,
Justin
that was
both won a 2017 regional and a Sun Series regional.
That was the tournament I became bad.
Oh,
Fuck
wait,
it.
you guys both won Sun and that's pretty funny.
Oh,
In
Nick
17.
won a Moon Series regional.
I know.
He likes to say he's part of the Sun Series club.
I was thinking it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's lying. I think he won the first Moon Series tour.
I brought a Sun Series team to a Moon Series regional and won it with a Sun Series.
You had a Ghostiem Gengar, bro. What are you talking about?
I'm not gonna brick Ajay.
I barely brought it to that tournament.
Okay, but you brought it for a Moon Series development.
I did.
I did get a brick in 2018, but no, I got a medal for this. Anyways, we know it's 9 by Justin. Get out of here.
Bye. One more thing is, I know Rajan is about to become unbearable, but really the real victim is Adi, because he's the one that Rajan gets to rub it into.
No.
I
Until
will
Adi
not be
wins Los
doing that
Angeles.
because I have not once, when having an argument with Adi, afterwards told him, when's the last time you cut a regional? Except immediately after I last cut a regional, just because he'd been saying it so many times. But I haven't actually ever done that to him.
Adi's gonna beat me in top 4 at LA.
It's over.
And Adi's like going back through the timeline in his head. He's trying to see if I actually have not done that to him.
I lost to Rajan in
it.
top 4, and then I lost to Rajan in top 4, so now it's Adi's turn to beat me in top 4.
I'm just trying to figure out the timeline for which I could have actually asked you when's the last time you cut a regional, because I don't think it's actually that long a period where I could say that.
What's the window?
Yeah, it was your top 32 cuts.
I did.
Prior to
No. You cut a regional in 2018 and didn't cut one since then until 2023, and I caught one after you in 2018. So I did actually have it on you.
For a while. And you were so.
Okay, I do gotta go. Somebody think of a booster energy raging bolt that Calc is right for me.
I'll take care of it. All right. Later, Burns.
I don't even know if Calc is right.
Okay, so
I did
when's
not
the last
consider
time you
Calc
cut a
as right.
regional? Oh yeah,
we got
round
2
after
regional
me.
previews and we're already over. So
Yes.
we should probably start with that with the the most important
Everyone
regional.
knew though that they were hopping onto this like tub takes, and it was going to be a lot of indie auto filleting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and so
Yeah.
for what it's worth, I've been told, I've gotten feedback after last episode where we were just riffing a lot, that people like that. So I do not mind that at all. I think that's a so. I hope that the indie talk was informative, and like Alex said, I'm sure we'll talk extensively about the teams that have come out of Indy. As soon as we get Buenos Aires teams, we'll talk about that, and then of course 2 regionals this weekend that we got to talk about as well, or a special event in a regional this weekend that we got to talk about that is going to have a brand new batch of teams that's going to surely
I
shake
do
up the
want to
metagame altogether.
apologize to everyone in Stockholm because I did get angry DMs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
I DM'd Rajan.
angry DMs.
I DM'd Rajan after the tournament. I was like, you realize that you just did exactly what Tayo did. And then Rajan was like, it's because we're both brown. And I was like, yeah, it is exactly
No,
what I said.
you literally said to me, it's like, and it's not because you're both brown. And then I went, man, but
Because you were going to say it.
I really do. I do apologize for those at Stockholm. Because this is, I think, a rather mean team to have to think about 45 minutes before your tournament.
This is just like the shit I did in Reg B with Lily Cole. Like that.
Yeah, and then no one respected it the next week.
Yeah, and then it won the tournament. Crazy, right?
The difference is Maridon right now is like everywhere on ladder, and there's like 1,000 YouTube videos now.
That's what it should have been with Lilycole and Reg B. Just people were already bored of the format. I mean, like a little bit, but I was going through some shit.
Yeah, no one's talking about Specs Terapagos, even though I do actually think that's probably the bigger takeaway from this weekend that was maybe not in the public eye as much.
A massive like head off carry. I'm not gonna lie, like, and I don't mean anything against Andrew or Nick. Andrew said something about it in the chat earlier, though. He was like, "Yeah, I got fucking carried by that mon," and I'm not saying he did, like, because he played well. But like, I think that mon is very difficult. Like I was saying earlier, to know your lines against. Just in general, you have to be a lot more careful of your Terra than normal, and that, like, denying opposing Terra is just so valuable. It takes away an extraordinarily important defensive resource and offensive resource, but then also just like infinite neutral coverage is really fucked up. Like, it's just so mean, and like we only get one focus sash. I had two, but like Terapagos is fucked up. Like, that one is crazy.
All right, guys,
Yeah,
we gotta preview this next thing. Let's get these previews done.
That is a preview for the next thing.
Yeah. So I predict that.
Well, I don't know predictions. Audie wanted to do predictions, and I'm like, wait, I don't know if I actually know anybody that's going.
I don't know who's going.
I know one person is going, and that's it.
we're all okay. Can we all just predict like Roxon or something and then move on?
No. That's for
you mean
Stockholm.
Stockholm.
That's Stockholm.
I was talking about Puerto Rico.
We're talking about Puerto Rico.
I don't know who's going to that.
Raise your hand if you're going to Puerto Rico. If you're in chat, I don't think anyone from here is going. But Nick, do you have any travel tips for Puerto Rico for anyone who might be going?
Wait, is that the one that Nick fucked up?
I got 9th and no points. I was kind of sad about it.
When did you go to Puerto Rico?
Damn.
Last year. I was in the day 2 race.
Why did you go to Puerto Rico?
Because I was in the day 2 race. And
Day 2 race is so stupid.
I mean, yeah, but it was also like
Smart money. Whoever saw him plays in finals is what Burns said.
so true.
It's so good. No way so going.
This year, thankfully, the championship point dividends payouts are a little better. I don't know if they've capped or not. I looked like I could still register before the stream, but I didn't go all the way through. And they're not using Arcanine, so we don't know how many players have registered. But cap of 100 masters, so it should be top 32 CP this time. So I think a lot of people
for that event was so scuffed. By the way, the payment system was here's my PayPal address, Venmo, or like just send me 25 USD.
I remember that. That was so funny.
The most scuffed registration of all time.
Just send $25 and you're good for it, bro. I promise I'll let you play in the tournament.
That was genuinely what it was. I think I haven't really spoken to anyone. I heard something that suggests maybe
why is the Puerto Rico special event requesting $8 from me?
You've been requested $8 because you top cut. You have to enter into top cut.
Payment. Championship points aren't free. Free championship points aren't free.
I don't actually know anybody that's going to this one, so I don't have a preview for it, but definitely going to be looking at the results of this one next weekend. And the other one going on that's going to be a little bit bigger is over in Europe, Stockholm. I believe this is Europe's last event, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, really?
Maybe. I might, if I'm not mistaken.
Honestly, hopefully.
No, they have a special event in Italy on June 1st, 2nd. So
okay.
Wait,
one more event there.
I know someone who's going to the.
Bologna.
Never mind.
Bologna or whatever.
Bologna, yeah.
Bologna.
So as the resident Swede, I can be the Stockholm person. Yeah. So Stockholm regionals, the last regional in EU. And I think that, EU players, I think it's interesting because EU players and NA players, they work together, but usually our team building groups are kind of separated, just language barrier and the time zone barrier and whatnot. So they always have a very different take on the format than us, or they sometimes have a different take on the format. Sometimes they just copy our teams.
Yeah,
it's
they're 6 hours behind in the format.
But there are definitely a few players who are consistently innovating, pushing the format forward. That I'm excited to see what they come up with, because this is still a very wide open format.
Yeah.
And and then on top of that, this is obviously the last the second last event, so it's going to have a big push for travel awards and travel stipends for not NAIC next year, right? But for Worlds at least. So it's a big event for all of the Europeans. It looks like it is 300 masters, and it should be capped. So we'll see how many actually show up. But that is assuming they get most people turning out. They should get day 2 Swiss, but it actually is one of those tournaments where X3s will make it to day 2. Last year, I believe, if I remember correctly, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but yeah, last year we saw Maddie Morgan beat Marco Silva in the finals, and Maddie actually got into day 2 as a 6-3 and then won out and won the regional. So
that's
look out for that. Yeah. And yeah, that's all I got about Sweden and Stockholm.
Hold on.
One, thank you for the raid, Joe. We haven't said his name for an hour and a half. I think it was, and I quote, CSR balance is dog shit, and Joe should feel bad for championing it.
I didn't say that.
That's what I said. And it was more of a maybe he'll run a better archetype next time.
Listen. Chill. Anyways, thank you, Joe, for the raid.
I want to let you know that Rajan and Nails are guests on our channel, and that I was a huge fanboy of CSR the entire podcast, and you should definitely rewatch the entire thing! !YT in chat.
!YT in chat. So true.
Thank you.
All right, dibs on Joe.
No! I was gonna take Joe for the smart money.
Yeah.
Joe, are you going to this? We were previewing that in Stockholm. We are wrapping up here, by the way, guys. We'll be here for a little bit longer. We still have to do Calc is right and talk a little bit more about Stockholm.
I have not thought about the Calc is right.
You were doing Calc all.
Joe,
you were doing Calc.
I don't know. Even now with this information, I still don't have a smart money for the event.
Oh my god, bro, you're so toxic.
I'm sorry.
I'm picking for Stockholm. I'm going to grab Donald. We actually have a couple tubbers that are going to this one. I believe Tommy DeRosa is also going.
Yeah, Dandy's going.
Yeah.
I know Roxanne, Corby, Dandy, and Donald are going.
Yeah.
But do I know the actual Europeans going? I have no idea.
No, that's why I'm picking Donald.
Donald's a big smart money.
Yeah, dude. Donald's been grinding. You don't know how much Reg G Donald's been playing.
I, in fact, do know how much Reg G Donald's been playing.
I am privy to this information as well. Yes.
I mean, honestly, fair, Joe, and I appreciate that because I probably will not be running Maride on my next event.
Rizzy, I'm talking about Donald Smith. Although I don't think anybody actually calls him Don. It's funny. I've talked about this with him before.
I know precisely how much Reg G he's been playing, and the answer is Clash of Clans.
Hey,
the
man.
answer is as much as Rajan played before his regional.
I played a good amount. I played like 15 ladder games.
Okay, that is a new high score. Fair enough.
You played a practice set with me, and you basically had practice.
That practice set with you almost ruined my friendship with Nick, though.
Wait.
Did the same thing. Every practice set of audio before regional ruins a friendship. So when I was I was trying to run during Series 2 when we had the Belly Drum Hands team that Alex was running at a regional. And I had a toe in for that tournament. Thank you so much, Joe. But I played a set with Adi, and I essentially ran Alex's regional team into Adi, and then Adi played Alex in Swiss for a win-in. And then during this tournament, Adi used the team that Nick used, and he and I both played at 10-0, and we had to actually talk about it, like how to make it fair. And I was like, you can have this info, I guess. I played this set.
So
helpful info.
All right, let's I don't know if we actually want to do a full smart money for the Stockholm event. I did actually forget to mention when we talked about Indy that yours truly did win smart money for that one. I picked Nails. And Adi, you grabbed Joe. Justin had a decent grab with Luca. Luca got top 16.
Nick,
16, yeah.
or Alex, you picked choice specs, I thought.
I did though. That was the real smart money that I tweeted out, and that went crazy. Guess who's going to Stockholm? That's another good shout. Hell yes.
I think choice specs is my Stockholm smart money too. The
Right?
problem is the item is just too good.
Mm-hmm.
It like is the item with it's the most bang for your buck with the least available counterplay. Like it's just broken.
Choice specs, Kyogre.
Yeah.
Just wait. Just you wait. All right, let's go
That
ahead and
might
move
be
on
bad.
into the Calc is right. And wrap things up
Wait,
here. What's up, Nick?
We're not doing smart money.
Did you guys actually want to do the smart money for Stockholm?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
I got Europeans, I know.
All right.
I need to do the same thing I do for every European event: brain off, slam rocks, and smart money.
All right, well, cool. I already grabbed Donald, so
you.
I grabbed Donald out of order too. So you guys are gonna have to hold that one. Nails also grabbed Roxon right now, and so Roxon already been taken. Adi, I don't want to ask Rajan. He's going last.
You want to ask Russian?
I don't.
What if I name the other European that
It's
he
pretty
knows?
fucked up.
I want you to take Rajan's guess.
All right, I'm actually taking two players. I'm taking both
Two?
the Bush brothers.
Oh.
I don't know which one's gonna do better. They're probably using the same team, but yeah, they always are.
Honestly,
fantastic.
I'll allow it.
Some
I'll
sense
allow
that
it.
they come up with.
Dusty is still available if you want, Rajan. Otherwise, who do you want?
I choose.
Tommy DeRosa, I do know is going.
I choose
Or Viva's available.
the friends we made
Wait.
along the way.
Wait, if Adi gets the Hoj brothers, does that mean I get Torviv and Roxon?
You do get them. Yes, they're brothers. And I choose Mario and Luigi.
All right, cool. Rajan's locking in with Tommy DeRosa. He said the friends along the way, and that's what I decided it was. Is what he picked.
Honestly, fair enough.
And so yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. For Calca's right. I'm gonna carry the torch for Justin here and start us off with a Raging Bolt Calc, Terra Electric Raging Bolt. I just want to know how much that Thunderclap is doing to let's say to Terrapagos. That's already Terra. So it doesn't have like Terra Shell or anything. But it does have that, big 160 HP stat. For the bulk for the offense on the Pokemon, we'll say that it's max special attack Raging Bolt with a modest nature and the booster special attack, Terra Electric Thunderclap, versus the Terrapagos, which we'll say is I don't actually know how bulky these things are running. The specs ones. Let's just say something like 84 HP. I'm just picking something like in the middle of the road. 84 HP Force Spit F. Terrapagos.
45%.
You're not supposed to just yell it out, Rajan. How long have you? How long has
I
it been
haven't
since
done
you
one in a while.
Sorry. So you said Terra Electric, Thunderclap, and then any other multipliers? Booster energy, right?
Yeah.
Booster energy, yeah.
That's it.
I've got a number, by the way.
Nice.
I've got a number.
All right, we'll go with Nick.
5%.
I think
Thanks, Nick.
Rajan, has a number.
That's true.
I'm taking 55.
All right, Adi. Adi, do you have a number?
Adi?
Does he not hear us? He's like,
What's up? Oh, sorry. I cut out for a second.
oh.
I cut out.
We saw you the whole time, so it was just kind of funny. You were just
No,
in your own world.
Oh, that's
No,
it.
This
I
is
was
the
waiting
thing
for
that
it to
happens
restart. I was waiting for the
all-
audio to
all
catch
the
up.
time. He keeps broadcasting, but he doesn't get the signal from us. And so we can hear him talking, but he can't hear us. And it's always hilarious.
All right.
It's Discord.
Oh, yeah, I did not hear you.
So I did not hear what anyone else said.
What was your
but
answer?
I was going to go.
It doesn't matter. That
I'm gonna-
actually is more fair.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go with exactly 50%. I think it's a roll to two shot.
Nick, what did you say?
I said 55.
All right, Nick is the one on the outside. Rajan just in there with his 45%. 44.7 is the minimum. 52 is the maximum. So it's a 2-hit KO, but if you get hit by that Terra Starstorm afterwards, you are dead. For sure.
45%.
All right, let's go ahead. Who has a calc ready?
Okay. Let's say you are
Rajan has a calc ready.
a set of water balloons. Your Pokemon. You are facing down. You are facing down the gun that is Miraidon, and Miraidon is Terra Electric, Choice Specs, and Electric Terrain. Max Special Attack Modest. Clicking Electro Drift. And you were trying to see how many Urshifu Rapid Strikes it takes to stop the bullet.
This is a good count.
Now the Rapid Strike is just 4 HP, and you're trying to see how many Urshifu Rapid Strikes in a row will stop the bullet.
Well, okay, so
How many Urshifus will it be?
This is like an electrical engineering problem, right? Like, we what's the resistance of an Urshifu? How many?
You said
so
Terra Electric,
Modest, Choice Specs, Terra Electric, and Electric Terrain. Every modifier you get turn 1 because that mon is fucking broken.
And the strong move.
And
We picked the strong move.
And I picked Electro Drift, even though I would be volt switching. How many, like, you shoot all this row of Urshifus in a row. How many Urshifus does it take to stop that bullet?
All right. Are we picking the number of Urshifus? So like some kind of like
picking the number of Urshifus it takes to stop that bullet.
Okay.
And so
the 100%
if it does like, you know,
if it does within that number of Urshifus, it'll count.
What I'm trying to say is if it does like, you know, 870, I would say 8.
Yeah. If it does like
No, you would say 9.
Yeah.
You'd say 9.
Oh, I would say 9. You're right. I would say 9. There we go. Yeah, thank you. You got to say one more. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, guess the Urshifus.
One sec. I'm still thinking. I feel like I can calculate this, but
I can. I'm just 7.
I'm also just vibing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How many Urshifus do we think it takes to stop that bullet?
Pick someone.
You pick someone to start, Rajan.
All right, Nick. How many Urshifus does it take to stop that gun?
I'm going with 7.
Okay. Adi.
I'm going with 8. I was also going to go with 7, but I can't go with 7 now.
I don't feel bad stealing Adi's number, so I'm also taking 8 because it's just there's not enough variance here for me to.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you are all right.
All right, hold on. Let's see.
It is 7.5 to 8.9 Urshifus to stop the bullet.
Let me see.
Right.
So we have Electro Drift. Rajan, you weren't supposed to spoil it.
Oh, sorry.
Also, that means Nick is wrong. If it took 7.8.
Nick did say 7, which means that
that's true. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's 7.57 Urshifu, so Nick isn't.
Yeah, so I was low. I overestimated Urshifu's bulk. I've only ever used it at one tournament, so that was a fun fact, by the way. The first tournament that I ever used Urshifu Rapid Strike, I won my first 13 sets with a guy.
This mon's good. What?
That's how I felt at Pittsburgh. All of my consecutive day 2s were torn Ursh. I was like, what the fuck was I doing?
Pokemon's so boring.
Why am I not using these guys together?
Hold on, what's going on?
Adi, Nick, who's next?
I'll go, I guess.
All right, Nick.
You can go. You can go. Adi,
I was going to say, we used the same team this weekend, so we might have a very similar...
Adi, take it.
You go first.
I do have a turtle calc, but yeah, go for yours.
Yep.
Adi, I'm picking you, Adi.
Fine. We'll go Singatart. Okay. You know what? This is we'll do the turtle calc that every turtle player needs to know. Let's say for a second that I have a Terapagos. And you also have a Terapagos, and we both Terra'd. And we're both choice specs. And it doesn't matter what the second one is, but we're both choice specs. And for the sake of simplicity, we'll say we're 4 HP for Spadef. And we're choice specs, max special attack, modest. How much does Terra Starstorm do to your opposing Terra Terapagos?
All right. Nick probably gonna be the best bet on this
I
one.
have no idea.
So definitely pick
I
Nick
went
last.
0-1 in the I went 0-1 in the turtle mirror. I should be better at this than I am.
I have no idea.
I have my number.
I have a number.
I don't remember the calc. I'm just gonna say 120.
Got it.
right.
Rajan, again,
Alex, what
going
you got?
out of turn. Cool. Love that, Rajan. You're supposed to
Yeah.
just say you're ready, but, you know, thought you would figure
I
that out
won
after
the
the first
tournament,
time,
so
but...
I also get to go first.
Okay, good to hear. I'm ready. Nick, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, Adi, pick
All right.
between us two.
Rajan already said his number, right?
Yes.
So, Alex, you can go.
I'm saying 78.
78. And Rajan said 120, right?
I don't know this Mon, man.
And then, Nick, what do you think?
The number of vibes I
I'm
played
at,
around
like,
with, I had focus
87.
sessions.
87 for Nick.
So Nick said 87. Alex said, I forgot already, 70 something?
78.
78. And then
What was
Rajan's
the
120.
calc we were doing?
First Starstorm and no bulker Tropigus.
4-4, but yeah,
Into
same
Terrashell? No, they're both
No,
Terran,
they're
right?
both
No.
Jared.
Oh my
And is
god.
this
Adi,
spread?
am I seeing
Is
this
this
right?
spread or single target?
Mhm.
They both Jared,
It's
so that's
spread,
the
it's
question.
spread.
Adi, am I seeing this right?
I'm still waiting for the thing to come, but I'm pretty sure you're seeing it right.
I think I'm in there.
What? All right, I'm still trying to get the stream. It says 78 to 92. Is that right?
Yeah, I said 78, 77.9 to 92.3, and I said 78. So,
This Mon fucking sucks.
well, you
Uh,
see, Rajan, the Mon doesn't suck that much because you got to remember that it is hitting a Pokemon with 160 HP and 110 Speed F.
With the
Or
spread move.
effectively.
Just to be clear, with a spread move.
With a non-stab
So
spread.
Rajan,
With a
Rajan,
non-stab spread move.
the adjustment you have to make is that this is always kills after Beads of Ruin. Like this mod's pretty good.
But that means that they KO you before with Beads of Ruin.
Yeah, because they set Tailwind, so like yeah, but
Mon fucking
Alright.
sucks.
Okay, so last calc
All right, Nick.
is Nick, I think.
yeah, so I actually have a pretty similar calc. So we've got our Terapagos, but they were running a different restricted, but they wanted to have a Terapagos. So they switched their Ditto in. And we click our choice specs Terra Starstorm into the Ditto switch in. How much does the Ditto take? 252 HP Ditto, and they like run 252 speed or something.
This is a great
Oh,
calc.
This is a really
This
good
is a
calc. I
phenomenal
think I
calc.
have my number. I
I have my number too because this is a phenomenal calc.
Howdy, do you have yours?
Thing is, I don't know what form Ditto transforms into. I haven't seen that one. Yeah, sure, I got a number.
I'm going Audi first.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I'll go 110.
Okay, Rajan.
Going 1200 because the imposter failed.
The imposter did fail. Alex, what's your number?
Wait, it did or didn't fail?
It did.
You have to stick to your number.
I'm not changing my number, don't worry. But
Yeah.
it does fail.
You have a Ditto sitting on the field in base Ditto form.
Oh, no. My number originally was 148. It's not looking good, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like I have a slim chance of making it, but probably not. The Ditto's probably taking
Okay,
200.
So, yeah, put the Terapagos with the choice specs, same as before, and slap that base Ditto with the calc on the other side.
It's not 1200. I just wanted to say it though.
Wait a minute. It's taking it better than I thought.
Yeah, no, it's like not that strong.
You weren't
yeah.
modest, but yeah.
I changed it to modest now. Unless...
No, it's a lot less than it should be because this mod's not very good. I just wanted to say that.
Wait, did I say 120? Or did I say 110? I forgot already.
I think Adi
I
said
think
110, so I think we
140.
actually do have 3 misses. But dang, Ditto taking this better than I thought. It's still dead.
You can EV for
Sorry,
it.
Ditto.
You can EV for it.
Yeah, you can slam the 252 Spidef in and you eat one Starstorm if you switch it on the wrong slot.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's so
funny.
funny.
Sounds like that's my Ditto spread now.
You
That's
are
awesome.
just careful. 252, 252. For that.
No, you're not supposed to be. You're still supposed to run speed and not switch into the turtle, bro.
I mean, like, if you're caught out in a scenario where you have to eat a Starstorm or not eat a Starstorm, like, that
No,
seems
that's
more
a
likely
winning
than-
line, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I get it. You can switch out back to your Incineroar, classically.
Or you could sack the Ditto and then get the free switch into the Incineroar.
I think this line is based.
All right, that's gonna be it for Tub Takes for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming over from the Joe raid, and thank you guys that were on the show here with me, Adi, Rajan, Nails, and Burns, who had to go. Appreciate you guys. Do you guys have anything else that you need to mention before we get on out of here? Adi already dropped the YouTube link. If you got in here late, if you came from the Joe stream and you're like, dang, these guys are actually, good at talking. I wish I got to see the rest of this. you can catch
came
it
at
out.
the worst part. You missed all of the Indy recap and just got us riffing about special events we know nothing about. So you should rewatch it.
Definitely check it out on YouTube tomorrow. Also, if you were here for the whole thing, check it out on YouTube tomorrow because you really like this.
And also, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Anyways, with that then, I think I'm going to go ahead and throw the raid over to another fellow Tubber, who might be streaming at this time. Is the handle Soul Serve? Like SURV? Yeah, there it is.
Be following him. He just got partnered, by the way. So give him a big congratulations.
Yeah, everybody gotta go say congrats to Jody. He's doing the streaming on the big time. That guy is sick with it. He's the guy from Twitter, if you don't know who I'm talking about.
Oh, he's the one from Twitter.
Yeah, the Twitter guy.
Just wait. We're going to have a second Pachirisu guy when Rajan cues into it this format.
Yeah. Rajan wins regionals, and Sajin's like, I'm going to Worlds! I think there was a decent, 8 hours between those two things happening, and I think it's really amusing. It was something like that.
Please. We need Jody to bring Maridon to Worlds just so that there's a chance he loses to Pachirisu again.
Oh my god.
That would be kind of epic.
Oh, I guess one last thing to mention before I send you guys off is that I'll definitely be streaming more this week. Just ladder and the usual biz. Come by and say hi. Otherwise, say hi to Jody for us. Have a good rest of your night. Peace out.